All right, I'm nervous. It's my first time doing the intro. I don't even know what the name of the show is. Spence.
It's not called Spence. I know that much.
Oh, that's right. No, welcome to Footballin with Spence. I'm Ben Roethlisberger. This is Spence.
Yeah. Hey, guys. What's up?
As you can tell, we changed things up today. Yeah. I'm doing the intro. I wore my Tennessee orange. Almost. Because we've got one of my dear friends, number 73 in the program, number one in my heart, from Tennessee, which is why I have my Tennessee Volunteer orange on, which is almost. Is this the color you guys wear?
No, absolutely not. You know our colors. You know them. Just no. That's a little peach, but it's acceptable.
Salmon.
It's salmon. Which one is right? Salmon.
But salmon sounds cooler.
I like salmon.
It's like jalapenos. Anyway, you know who it is. It's my boy Ramon Foster. Thanks, Moan, for being here. This means a lot to the Footballin family, to me, Spence, that we were able to make, that you were able to make this happen. We are filming on an unusual day. We're doing this on Saturday because you do your thing down in Nashville. Yeah. And so we're making things work.
Yeah.
And so we are excited to have you here. So thanks for joining us.
So did you call an audible?
What's that?
A check with me?
Check. Hot Route Red 7?
Hot Route. Yeah. That's what we did, man. I appreciate you.
You called the audible and we made it work.
You know what?
We're thankful for it.
One time the offensive lineman was right. So I appreciate that, man. It wasn't me, Ben. I didn't yell, look out. I just said, hey, we'll fix it. And
well, that's because we don't have Al on.
We do not have Al.
If we had Al, we'd be yelling, look out.
And he'd also be asking for help.
Whoa, he wants a little 52 protection.
It worked both ways. It worked both ways.
And
but
the funny thing is about five people understand that whole thing.
I know. I mean, but that's why we're here. We might break something down. We might not.
We might not. But no, we're excited. We're going to do our normal show, throw some different things out there. We got Evan's going to bring some food down. We're going to have our... what do we call that segment, Spence? Oh, yeah, the family dinner.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I'm nervous. When I'm the host, I don't do the talking.
Can't forget about the food, though.
No, can't forget the food. That's going to be so good because he told me who he was making, too. And it was like he got up early this morning and had stuff marinating, and he's doing some like tennis. You know, as the fans know, he likes to do some stuff. You know, so we did a cookbook last year.
Yeah.
The Footballin cookbook. And it sold out like this. And so we told people, we challenged our fans and said, if we can get to 100,000 subscribers, we'll do another cookbook. And the number has been going up. And we got to be within 5,000. Maybe 3,000, 2,000 more?
Yeah, 2 and some change.
So we're getting super close to our thing. And so what Evan does is he prepares like the foods for like when we go play like a team, right? You go play the Ravens.
Yeah.
He produces cooks like one or two things.
Yeah.
For that place, like it might be crab cakes or you know what I'm saying? They do. So, but it's this whole thing. So we're trying to create a cookbook. So those are the family that know what it's like. You can anticipate some Tennessee food today. So you get to judge on it. We'll see.
I'm a judge him. We'll see what it looks like. By the way, I opened up my phone real quick because I want to subscribe. It's that easy.
Oh, wow.
You subscribed already?
Yeah. I just went and did it right here. It's that easy, y'all. Like legitimately.
What if Mo would have been our 100,000?
I would have loved it.
Sparklers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Somebody come down the stairs and slide with a costume on. I would absolutely love that.
What if it was Evan like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
But it's that easy. I opened up my phone while Ben was talking to subscribe. Y'all go subscribe. It's that easy. It don't cost you anything. You know when he's coming on. You know exactly what you're getting every single time.
And there have been I saw a lot more things this week, little clips.
Yeah.
Social clips have gone out.
We're cutting more clips, man. We're building a little team.
Yeah.
Look at us.
That's cool. That's what we're doing. So yeah, we're just gonna we're gonna have some fun. We're just gonna talk and we're gonna catch up because we are gonna catch up because we haven't. It's fun. You got to just see my family as they were leaving, going to watch Moana 2. We're gonna talk about your boys. I'm so excited to talk about them at some point as we get to the family dinner. But just like every good Footballin episode, we are going to start with a beer.
That's right.
Spence, what you got, bud?
Well, that's a great question, Ben. It's like a correspondent. Yeah, Ben, thanks for throwing it. We're out here in the field. So we have I guess it's a distributor here locally, Creekside. They have provided us with these beers. They always take care of us. And should you go to Creekside. They'll take care of you as well. This first one we got going, and I'll pass down. Great color, by the way. Look at that nice golden Pilsner. It's an American Pilsner by 11th Hour Brewing Company.
We've done 11th Hour stuff before. Never this one. What is this one called?
This is called the Charlotte Street American Pilsner.
I knew it when I saw it. I figured it would be like, as light as it is, I figured it'd have grapefruit in it.
Hold on. Let's not. Ramon, when I asked you to come on the show and I said we sample beer, don't come on and act like you're a beer connoisseur all of a sudden. Like, he comes on like, oh, let me see. Let's look at the color. So you're an alchemist.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You did. You know what? Before we get too going in this beer, because that
my man said, I could tell. We've been doing this show for 3 years. We should have had Mo.
He doesn't know. He's tried. This is how Mo does. He tries that.
I had a lot of time on my hands.
But he knew it was coming. He tried to stay. Moan did predict that this show would be a bigger, more popular show than Pouncey's. And that was his goal, just to have one more view than Pouncey's. And so he just, that's the challenge that's been put out there.
7.
Not calling Pouncey an amateur, but just that.
I mean, it's competition always, it never ends. It's where we're at, okay? So whether it be a show, whether it be reps, like you see what happened also. I retired with 11 years. He could have walked out with me 7. He had to get 11 years also. Okay, couldn't let me just have one more there.
No, of course not.
Absolutely not.
Didn't he? What did he do with his beer? Didn't he like slam it or something? Did he do something weird?
Oh yes. So if you go back and watch the tape, Pouncey chugged the entire beer.
Yeah.
So as you see, Ramon, we got little samplers. Yeah. Pouncey housed the whole can.
He took the whole can because he's like, let me have the can. If we pour this, right? He took the can. He was like. Boom. We're like, what'd you taste there? And
he said, that's empty, bud.
All gas, no brakes, man.
I said, whoa, them sicko.
All the cliches right now. Absolutely.
All right. Smells delightful.
Does it?
It does.
Are you not having one?
Well, I didn't grab enough cups. Your guys are good.
Wow.
Yeah, that's on me.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Oh, that's delightful.
Good. That's good.
That's
I like.
really
I would drink that.
American Pilsner.
Absolutely would drink this right here.
The Charlotte Street American Pilsner. Yep, 4.4. This is good.
Yeah, this is gonna be a solid one.
So when it's good, I have to always try. Well, not when it's good. Usually when it's good, I have to do another one just to make sure.
It's not like super bitter in the end either. Like usually when they're that light, I'm not the biggest beer drinker, but like when I get somebody's like, hey, come get an IPA. I'm like, why do you drink this? This one doesn't give me that feeling. Like it doesn't finish nasty on the back
why?
end. Why?
Because it's not an IPA.
It's not?
No.
There it is, man. There it is. See, now we talk about what's behind your bar over here. That's a different conversation.
So that's what's funny. That's why you thought you smelled grapefruit, which by the way, there's no grapefruit.
There's no grapefruit in this?
Whatsoever.
They're lying.
Actually, it is tropical fruity nose. But it's still not an IPA. But still, that's pretty funny.
Ramon took one whiff and single-handedly did a better beer tasting than we've done his entire life of the show.
This is life of an offensive lineman. We got to know useless facts and also how to block a 3 technique. That's what we do here, right? Nobody listens to us, okay? So we got to be able to keep your interest.
Amazing. I thought, I'm going to read this description to you because what I really thought was funny was I'm like, I told him he saw a show and knows that we sample beer. And so he probably went let me just get 1 or 2 things that make me sound like a beer connoisseur, like an alchemist. And he threw that out there and he's like, these IPAs. I'm like, it's not an IPA first off, but he did throw the grapefruit and he was right there. So you're batting 500. That's Hall of Fame.
Easily.
All right. This is Charlotte Street American Pilsner. It's an ode to our location in Lawrenceville.
Okay.
Originally built in 1872, we bring you Charlotte Street. Pouring a pale straw yellow with a fluffy white. See, okay, here's the other thing.
No, finish the sentence, man. Finish the sentence.
As I read this, this is a family show that this is.
What do you read? Was that 50 Shades of Grey? What was that?
Ramon was always that guy when we had meetings that would make comments when things were...
Or reactions.
So
that were...
I just know. So I wouldn't have even slowed down if we had any other guests on the show. Again, there's going to be about 10 people that are going to watch this show. They're going to know what this is about.
Keep going because I can't wait to say, that's what she said.
Oh, goodness. All right. A new pouring out a pale straw yellow with a fluffy white head. The stage is set. A new age Pilsner, starting with the best Pilsner malt available, adding classic German Muddlefruch then adding a late kettle hop of Strata. The result is a nice, light, tropical fruit nose, crackery sweet mouthfeel, and a crisp, sharp hop finish. Only 4.4% this beer to lubricate conversation.
No way.
To lighten the senses.
No way they said lubricate conversations.
It lubricates conversations. Again.
It coats the throat well.
Again. Here we go. And so, anyway, as we move on, as we're going to keep, this is just.
Yeah, what a start.
A little bit more of the frothy white head.
What was the first
Welcome to the show, Ramon.
First F in our 5 F's are faith, family, football, food, and beer with the silent F. Okay?
Yes.
Faith, family, guys.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
At least family, okay?
I'll grow up just a little bit.
Just a little bit, Mon. At some point, that's what we used to say to Mon. Mon, we'd be in team meetings. Mike would be so serious. Coach T would be so serious.
Yeah.
He'd be talking about this team. We got this, and we got to talk about. Guys, it's a big week. I mean, this might be the biggest game. And he'd say, and he would say something, and all you hear Moan be like, and everybody in the whole room would just start dying laughing because they knew what Moan was doing. And then Coach T would just like he had to, and he'd be like, and then Moan would just say, he'd be like, come on, Moan. And he'd do this. Yeah. So, yeah. That's
you remember the team meeting room where I got kicked out the night before the game? I got kicked out of the meeting room night before the game. We were cooking, though. Like, as a team, we were cooking. So, like, this is allowed when you're good, okay? Correct, Ben? Yeah. That's correct.
When
all
you're
right.
Good, you can
so Todd, if I'm not mistaken, Todd Haley was asking, and we were reviewing tape. And who has this Saturday night on this play? And I was like, I think it was D, coach. D-who? And everybody waited, and I just went, you know the answer.
Yes,
you know the answer. In the entire room. You remember Coach JD?
Yes.
He lost
Even JD laughed. JD's our tight end coach. He was the most serious person. He started laughing. Everybody started laughing.
Got him, huh?
Got him.
Got him. That's what you say. Got him.
Got him. Oh. I can't believe Todd was Coach Haley was so like into like the film, and for whatever reason, he didn't pick up on it. At that point, Monsters is like, you're not going to get any better than this. But that's what happens when you win and have fun, though, too. So I couldn't believe I got that one off. That was good.
When you're winning and things are going well, and people are always like, well, when things aren't going well, you want to have fun. But when you're winning and things are going well, you can get away with things like that because it's just, it is what it is.
It's the team. That's what most guys miss. It's that little conversation, is those moments where you're just like, you remember this? And I'll be honest, that's one of the main things. Like, I don't miss the field.
The fall. I totally agree.
I don't miss the field.
That's why when I love that, get into that a little more, because when people always, when the season would be going on and people would say, hey, do you miss it? Even my first year. I'd be like, not at all. They'd be like, what? You don't?
Oh.
No, not at all.
No.
I said I miss the guys, but I always tell people that my last year, I didn't have the guys anyway. Like my guys.
Yeah.
I had so many young guys, and it was really hard to connect with them because of the age difference. But once like you and Pounce and Al, like all those guys left, it really made it different anyway. I would say I'd miss like the chance for like the ball in my hands, like that kind of thing, but not anything else. But you miss those things. I mean, people will never understand the locker room, like the practice locker room when Al would play spike ball, and it was like the funniest thing in the world. Or when we had
basketball,
with the little tape ball, and the Dennis Dixon would try and beat me all the time. Dennis, you still can't beat me, Dennis.
He just turned 40, by the way.
Did he really?
Yes, I saw it on his social media. Double D,
Double
40.
D was the best. Double D. I still tell. I'm sure I've told the story on this, but that brings it up to tell it again. Dennis, I hope you see this clip. Dennis, when he was a rookie, you may know the story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. We were doing it was with BA, Bruce Arians was the OC. And so it was a training camp, and we're doing our stretch lines. We come out and do the whole thing. And so BA would get on the mic and to talk to us, right? Quarterbacks have a speaker there. 7, you got me? Hand up. B left, you got me? Charlie, you got me?
Yeah.
Double D, you got me? Double D, you got me? Dennis, can you hear me? And we can all hear, because it's all one, and we're like, Dennis, what are you doing? And so then you hear BA like, he starts probably dog cussing something. Someone get his speaker fixed. He can't hear me.
Yeah.
And we're like, Dennis, do you hear him? He's like, yeah, I hear him. I'm like, well, then let him know. He goes, I have been. I've been telling him I hear him. He thought there was a microphone to talk back.
Can you imagine that?
We fell on the ground laughing, and then BA was like, he didn't know. Like, he's standing like over there.
Yeah.
And we're like, and we all, you just got to raise your hand.
Signal.
No. I got you. He's like, he's like, got you, coach. Yeah, coach, I hear you. Coach, yep, I hear you. Can you hear me, coach? And we're like,
oh my God.
So, Double D, happy 40th, brother.
Yes, absolutely.
That's so funny.
It was. That's Double D for you, though, too, man. Such a good dude, man.
Good guy, good football player, good teammate, but
he was
anyway, that's funny that you
probably a few years too early for what the league has turned into now. Because what he was in college is what everybody's eating up now. Well, heck, you were too. I mean,
no doubt.
What was the longest run there?
I do have an 80-yarder in college, 40-yarder in the NFL. But
crazy leg.
Crazy leg.
It is what it is. We don't need to talk about me. The show's about me. But anyway, I don't know where we started with that. Where were we starting with that?
No, we're just chilling. We're just vibes, man.
Yeah, about missing things.
Yeah,
missing the guys, missing that stuff, missing the locker room, the shuffleboard tournaments. Ike Taylor and I, we were 24/7. We just couldn't lose.
It was good. The shuffleboard was elite.
Shuffleboard was fun.
Ping pong. Troy at ping pong.
Garrett Guimont.
Yes, Gee.
Ping pong.
That's that West Coast stuff for him and Troy right there. Trey was solid.
Trey was a good player.
Essex.
Yep.
Very good. It was getting so serious, guys went and start buying their own paddles.
Yeah.
I was just
hold on, what are we doing here?
Like, we don't just have the same standard paddles that everyone else does?
Why are we all not using a 2x4 sandpaper on it?
It's no doubt.
Yeah, but missing the guys and that time, and we all were in the same area of the locker room together, and it was a lot of fun. So that's what I missed too. Was those kind of things. So
same here. Like the game immediately after, it's like I never forget having a phone call with Coach Tomlin, Mr. Rooney, Kev, Colbert at the time. I felt like the weight of the world was just like off my shoulders when I was like, yeah, I'm done. Because same as you, like from a kid all the way up. Well, I started playing football in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. So that's my life. That's what my life was all the way through. And you know how it is, Seven. When you're on, you're on. And when you're in it, you're never out of it. So the moments that you get as far as like not thinking about football, not being on vacations, like I got to go train, like that was finally gone. And I just remembered, like, I felt like I could breathe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Was it like that for you in a sense?
Well, it's funny because I have like a funny question for you. But the difference is with like you and me and you and a lot of players really is – And I'm going to ask this in the right way. Like you told them you were done.
Yeah.
Was your contract up? Like I
had one more left on it.
So you made the decision, right?
Yep.
Which is funny to me because at the end of the day, I always felt like they did everything they could, and we joked about this, so this is not like news, but I felt like they did everything they could to replace you for. You played 11 years.
11.
9 years.
Yeah.
Did they do everything they could to replace you? Pretty much. I mean, I might be putting it out there. I might be a little crazy. And basically what I mean by that is they always were looking for a younger guy, a guy they could draft, a guy that was more highly acclimated,
athletically,
accolades, right? And they were always looking to replace Ramon. And that was the thing, Spence, is that it was like every year it was like, well, we got a guy. Mm-hmm. And training camp, it's like, Moan, we appreciate your leadership, your hard work, but you're probably going to be competing. I don't know if they ever really said that you're number 2. They might have told you, I don't know. But it felt like every year it was you're going to have to compete every year.
Rookie year, I get it. Yeah. Okay, I'm in competition. Year 2, because that rookie year I started the last 4 games of the season. Mm-hmm. So I was expecting a strong competition going into year 2. Then it happened again in year 3. And then it happened going into, Now, there's nothing wrong with competition.
No. But there's a certain level of once you've established yourself that you don't, there's not really a competition anymore. I mean, now, when you're in the height of when you're playing well, listen, Ramon was a guy that you could count on every single week to go out there. He's going to give you everything he got. And was it going to look pretty in the sense of like, okay, you bring Dave in, you bring DeCastro in. DeCastro is the All-American. He's what you expect. He's the athletic guard that pulls and does this and that. Moan wasn't going to do that, but Moan was going to be dependable, reliable, do his job, no issues. You don't have to ask him twice, and was going to give you everything he had every week.
Yeah,
and that's not that Dave wasn't either. I'm just using an example of what
athletically
the look.
Yes. I don't want to say it was easier for him, but like athletically, if he was in a bad spot, his body, like he was born with that.
And you probably had to work.
I did. And
so that's why I guess I'm leading all this to say is like, it had to feel like when you were done and you didn't have to like go through an off season, man, I gotta get my knees right. I got to get my body right. I got to do this.
Make sure weight
and
is
you
good.
got to tell them you were done.
Yeah.
Where they kept trying to tell you were done, you got to tell them you were done. Had to feel a little sweet.
7, nobody's ever put it like that.
I mean,
no, seriously. I've talked to a lot of people about my career, and nobody's ever put it like that. One, nobody's ever acknowledged that they understood that I was in competition like every single year. You know, the only years I ever felt comfortable? The years I signed a new deal.
Yeah.
That year.
That
year only. Like even when I got my tender, you know, you get tender, like a restricted tender. I didn't feel safe that year because it wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
The next year I ended up getting my my second deal basically. And then year 1 of that, I was like, whew, I can breathe. Year 2 going into it.
Gotta think about it again.
Gotta think about it again. That's, God, nobody's ever said that was that close to the scene that we saw you were putting up against it every single year. I didn't think it was acknowledged like that.
Every year. Well, it might. I mean, I think I recognized it, and I would go to bat for you all the time, which was a no-brainer for me, not because you were a friend, but because of everything I just said.
Yeah.
Like I've said on this show many times, I said to Spence, I will take a lineman. Lineman is one of the few positions, not the only, but a few position that I will take, and I'm not saying this about you, I'm just saying in general, I will take less talent and more heart.
Yeah.
Over more talent and less heart.
Yeah.
You had as much heart as any guy I played with. There's a few guys that I can really put in that group of like just heart.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
I'm gonna give it everything I have every week. And you were that guy. And when I say less athletic, I mean, you know, like we just talked about Dave, being the athletic guy, the pull and do all that stuff. That wasn't your game.
No.
Your game was strength.
Yeah.
I mean, when a guy came at you, we used to laugh at Moan. Moan's legs about this big. Where's my camera? Moan's legs about this big. Moan's upper body, you got some strength now.
Come on with it.
I don't know how somebody could bull rush Moan. And again, we might have to set up a little bull rush with Spence and Moan.
Yeah, Spence, I can't wait, Spence. Where are your cleats at?
Nah, you know what? I was working out this morning on my shoulder. I can't. I don't want to.
But I got to believe when you bull rush somebody, you have to have some leg strength. Yeah. So I'm not saying that Moan doesn't have leg strength. The point of what I'm trying to say is we used to laugh because when someone would get into Moan's like this area right here where Moan could get you. when you were in Moan's phone booth, it was over.
Yeah.
It was over. And I used to laugh because there would be times, I promise you, I swear, I promise on everything. I promise on everything. There would be times, whether it was at practice or in a game, where I could hear Moan laughing. He's like that right there. Like, you hear this? This is exactly what it is. I would hear it. Wait a second, I'm having flashbacks. I'm in the pocket. I'm here. I'm like, where he would laugh because somebody would try and like do something and they got in his phone booth and it was over and he knew it was over. He's thinking like your best move is not to get in here. Like go anywhere else but right here. Yeah. And he'd get him and he would just be like,
You be laughing at guys in the middle of the game?
Yes. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. And it was the greatest thing ever. He would laugh and it's like, where are you going, little fella? Where are you going, little guy?
Yeah.
You had a plan.
No, because the game is so hard. That position is so hard. And protecting 7 and just everything that goes into it. It was because to your, like 7 makes the point perfectly. Golly, I ain't realized you paid attention like that. But it was that, like I would set a way to where I would take away the 2-way go. You got to come see me and fight me. Yeah. And when you decided that you wanted to fight me, you're not going to win. No. You're not going to win. I got to give Coach Munch a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
And I know we'll get to him at some point, I think. But like, he was just like, I'm not going to ask you to be like David to that point. I'm not going to ask you to be like Marquise to that point. Like, your specialty is invite him. Tell him, come on over here. And I used to laugh because, God, like, I'm 6'6". At the time, I was probably like 340. You know what I'm saying? Like, really just like, come on in here. Yeah. And so I was set away because I was a college tackle that, like, I knew how to set. I knew how to get them in the area to take away their outside. So if they decide to go inside, well, guess what? I've trained myself enough to where I would put my post leg up, my right leg up to stop them. And at that point, I've been lifting. I've been running. I've been doing everything I need to do. And when I start to grab you, it's a wrap. Like, it got to a point where I actually screwed myself over one time. We were in New York, and I never forget, same situation. It might have been a preseason game, too, which makes it even worse. We're up there playing in New York, the Giants, okay? And this guy is just, he decides he wants to run down the middle of me. Cool. I'm laughing. I'm talking to him. You can't go anywhere. Not going anywhere. And at that point,
this happens.
This really happens. Oh my gosh, it was a game. I love trash talking. Okay, he was running away from me, and I had him like my arms were way bigger than this. They're big now still, but like I would just hold on to him. That was just a little brag right there. I had to. I'm holding on to him, and as he's trying to pull away, I'm like, you're not going anywhere. And I'm telling him this, like, you're not going anywhere. And as he's starting to pull away, he dug in and like he pulled and stretched his finger out.
Yeah.
So my ligament from holding on to him was because I was being me. So yeah, it was. So yeah, that's hilarious.
We just went, but that was Moan's game. It's like, come on in here, come on into the kitchen.
I know you
hang out for a little bit. I'm gonna cook in here. I'm gonna do this thing. But I recognize it, and I think other guys did that you fought and battled for your job, and that's what I think is even more respectable about you. 11 years, undrafted or late undrafted. That's what I thought.
Got $8,000 to sign. I'm not hurt. I got $8,000 to sign. But I could probably name you the guys that came afterwards. I vouched for one of them, too. After year one, who was they brought in? Keith Williams, my guy from Tennessee, Chris Scott, DeCastro. That one was by far one of the crazier situations.
Did he come to play your – because you bounced around on the line.
I did.
Did you ever go tackles?
I did not. I think I might have did it in the game.
But mostly the two guards.
Right guard is where I was.
Okay.
So DeCastro came in, and I'll never forget, we were at a steakhouse in Pittsburgh. Remember when they drafted him? And we were eating good. It was awesome. Can I say the establishment where we are? And we not. It was meat and potatoes. Remember, we were downtown. Me, Willie, you, Pounce, and it might have been a few other guys there too. And I never forget, Dave was a college right tackle. I mean, right guard. Who's playing right guard? Me. And I was just like, I'm happy for him. But here's my thing though too. I never shied away from like him. I never made him feel like it was his fault. And I understand also at a certain point when you come up the way you do, like this is also the business. Yeah. So DeCastro was another one. And we were good friends. Like I was never any animosity. And at that time too, Willie had moved into guard. Also, remember, I think he ended up turning his Achilles or his bicep or tricep.
Something.
So he came inside to guard. And I'll never forget that year Dave played well enough. They said they put him in at right guard when Willie got hurt in camp. I moved over to left. Willie gets back healthy. Willie goes back in at left, and I got moved out.
Yeah.
And that was a succession of that one. And that same preseason, DeCastro partially tore his ACL.
Yeah, I remember in
Buffalo.
I remember that.
Yeah, I just got married that offseason too. So I had that was my tender year also. Yeah. To where it was like an extension, like it was the highest amount of money I made at the time. DeCastro tore his ACL, partially tore. I was back in at right. So it's funny how God works in these situations. It was the third preseason game, and I'll never forget, we're back on the south side. Coach Sean Kugler. He comes up to me on the practice field, because the last week for the starters then was, man, we're going to get you guys ready to go.
Right.
We're chilling. That's when we had 4 preseason games. And he walked up to me and was like, just know it wasn't my call. I'm just like, what?
What do you mean?
Whoa,
come here.
And of course, you know me. Yeah. I'm like, man, it's all good. It is what it is. Crazy year story, that particular year, as was the first year they incorporated IR to return. Dave was 12 weeks in, came back to Dallas game. The week before that, Willie ended up getting hurt, or during that game, Dave comes in at right guard. I move over to left guard, and the rest was history. Because I think Willie tore something else, if I'm not mistaken.
That was about the end of
And they made a decision on Willie that next year because it was my tender year. Willie ended up getting released. I was left guard, and Dave was right.
Why did you never get a shot at tackle? If you played college tackle, they kept you inside?
You seen my combine?
No,
I ran a 5.5. I ran a 5.5.
Isn't that what Brady ran?
Huh?
Isn't that what Brady ran?
Exactly. Exactly. He got a heck of an arm. I got a lot of strength and power. Okay, it's a little bit different. But they have their criteria. Most teams do. Like a tackle, you got to probably run no higher than a 5.3. I caught a nosebleed.
I just figured though, like if you know, like Trey, they used Trey at tackle. Trey kind of did all four. I mean, just as like you played in college, give him a filler. But listen, I mean, it worked out and everything. But and credit you for never giving up, because I think it'd be really easy. During those frustrations,
it was a lot of frustration
to just give up, or be like, you know what, forget this, I'm out of here, whatever. But you did, you persevered, and it turned into 11 years of great football. And you played. I mean,
I was close to a Pro Bowl one year.
Yeah,
I was first alternate, and I was just waiting for somebody to like break a finger. So I was like, put it. But
we could have. Spence, I could have visited him.
I know a guy. Spence, where were you at?
Hey, man, listen, man.
But I didn't shy away from it, though. I actually had them, and I don't know if they were actually being correct about it, because teams will tell you stuff in hindsight. I never forget, I think it might have been going into that last year, I was asking questions, because I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? Like, you know how it is, meeting with Coach Tomlin and anybody else in those exit meetings. I asked him, I was like, you know, what are you guys trying to do? What's the plan? You know, and all those types of things. It's like, Mom, here's the thing. Anytime we've ever put anything in front of you, you knocked it out. It's like we knew that from the time we met you at the Combine. And I met with the Steelers at the Combine. I met with, picture my teams. Steelers, Cleveland, Cincinnati, all AFC North teams. That's all I met with at the Combine. And
seemed like an AFC North kind of guy.
It fit.
Grinder.
It fit. Grinder, right? Bully ball. But they said they figured it out in my conversation. They asked me some crazy questions in the room, like most people do, or most players get. But their breakdown was, and they sent me my draft card too.
Oh.
It was their grade on me, a 3rd to 5th.
Really?
Yes. I got the card at home.
Wow.
What happened was I had a very bad testing at the Combine, and then I didn't get an opportunity to back that up with doing it again in my pro day because I caught the flu. I had like 101 fever. So all I did was weigh in, and I couldn't do field work or anything. And I ended up going undrafted. They ended up picking a guy the same year in the 3rd round to that point.
The Steelers did that year?
Yeah.
Who'd they take?
Urban.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. And they were also Oline U at the time.
Yeah.
So I saw my card. I saw the breakdown of what they said. I mean, it was actually pretty unique. Did
you see it then, or did you see it when did they
saw
give
it in
you?
retirement. They sent it to me in retirement.
Okay,
yeah, because I kept asking the questions.
Do you think it would have motivated you to see it during, or not really?
Not really.
Yeah. You were already.
Yeah.
That's what I think was cool about you, is you're self-motivated. You didn't need that external motivation.
Nah.
I mean, external motivation in the sense that they keep trying to replace you, but you put that then pressure on yourself to say, listen, okay, y'all want to do that? I'm going to go do this.
Easily. I want to make them so long.
And that's why I keep saying it. Like, so many guys could have easily just said, you know what? This is like, send me somewhere else. Do something else. Yeah. Like, you probably could have started comfortably on a bunch of other teams. Yeah. But to your credit, it's like, no, I want to be here. I want to do this. And you did it, and you ended up forming relationships with the linemen here, with obviously Pounce, Al, Dave, Gil, whoever
Willie,
else it is.
Max, Trey.
All those guys, yeah. And me.
You, I mean, seriously, I never forget. 7. I never forget the first time I saw Ben, though. Too, it was 2 people I was just starstruck by. It was
neither one was me, but he did like seeing me.
Ben was standing in my way. I said, "Excuse me, sir."
And the 2 people that got asked,
move.
It was 7, and it was Troy.
Yeah.
And those were the 2 guys I was just like, and there's also the family members. Did you meet Big Ben? Shut up. I'm here to work, okay?
But yeah, I met him.
We're cool. I got his number.
It might not be his real one, but no, we had a lot of fun.
The journey was cool. Yeah. It's hardened me in a lot of different ways. And also, too, I know you're very faithful, too, Ben. You're strong in your faith also, and Spence, you, too. Like, certain things in life happen to us for a reason. I've been able to help other guys in this situation, specifically like with competition, like going to training camp. My method and how I won the starting job was very technical. I had to be good. Like my margin of error was thin.
Yeah.
So I had to be a film wizard at time. I had to know guys' personalities, and like I enjoy watching film. I love watching tape to a point, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah. At some point, I know it can get like when it's like, like give me toothpicks for my eyelids.
Seriously.
Cut them off, as Tom would say.
Please.
Well, let me ask you this, because you opened that door. Was there ever, because you were technical, you watched the film, you did this, and you obviously, like every football player, were hurt at times.
Yeah.
So when you got hurt, what did that do? Like that had to make you a little nervous because you were always that guy that was bubble, right? Or in your mind, at least you were bubble.
Yeah.
So when you got hurt, like everybody does, what was going through like your mind? Did you try and rush back faster? Did you suck more things up because you didn't want to? Because you didn't want to tell things. See. So what did the injury bug that you got sometimes do to your psyche, like, because it had to feel some kind of way, because like that's why I say there's a difference between you and I. Like if I got hurt, I was like, okay, I just need, when I get healthy, I'm getting the job back. But did you feel that way?
No,
or did
I
you
did not feel that way.
I'm gonna have to go win it back or something.
I was pressing. I had to. I'm gonna say something here in a minute. A lot of people probably look at me sideways when I say it, but I was pressing. I remember one time, it might have been like year 3 or 4 at the time, maybe year 5. I had a high ankle sprain bad, and I took about a week off. I think I missed a game, and the next week I was out there hobbling in Baltimore, of all places, too. Like I double taped my ankle up, and I went back and watched the tape. It was like, yep, you shouldn't have been out there, but I had to be out there simply because it's my job. I got to show you why you continue to pour into me. Like, no, I don't think anybody can ever watch what I've done as far as like my career and how I've gone about it and say like, yeah, you didn't give your all. Well, I had to give my all. So in those moments of injury, Seven, like you remember when I hyperextended my knee in camp, like I thought I was done.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was just a bone bruise and, I stretched out a ligament or something like that. Like I was very adamant on getting back. And in times where I would have to miss a week, I probably had a concussion or something like that. I never forget, like, this is the part where I said people probably look at me sideways. The guys I had that were my backups at the time, I was in a place to where I wanted the team to win.
Yeah.
I wanted the offense to do good. Respectfully, because of my mindset, I don't want my backup to kill it.
Yeah. No, that's not, there's none of that's real. It's
selfish, but it's also the business when there's only so many of these jobs that you can get in my position too. Like I wanted the team to win. I wanted the team to do real good. But as it pertains to like the guy that they put in and placed him in that week, I just want to do all right. If he gave up a sack on you, Ben, where it kind of laid you on the ground, I'd be like, see, that's why you need me.
Hey, Ben, you all right out there? Hey. Why you get sad?
I wasn't over there cheering, fist pumping, and none of that type of stuff. But naturally, humans are selfish. And when it comes down to like one of those 53 jobs, I loved mine.
Gold.
Yeah.
Because you might not get it back. I mean, certain guys might, but you felt like you were in a position I might not get it back.
Well, that's he probably has his own story of it. But I felt like that's what happened in year 2. I think it was Trey Essex at right guard. And I think he might have either had an injury, came back, didn't play well. It was something that went on. I'll have to ask Trey about this. And if I'm wrong, Trey, hey, charge it to my mind, not to my heart, because you know I love you, okay?
Love you, Trey.
Love you, Trey. But they're always looking to replace, to your point. And I think he had an injury, came back, didn't look good, and then I got in and we rode it all the way to the Super Bowl. You remember in year 2, like that's what it was. And that honestly was one of those learning moments for me. Is like, you're always replaceable. You better do something. Or, know how to break up the meeting rooms with laughs to make yourself valuable. And that's what I did try to do. I tried to make myself as valuable as I could to my teammates, the offense, and just the entire building. Like if we had some stuff going on, I knew like, okay, this is my role.
You were good at that. You had an uncanny ability, and that's leadership. And there's multiple ways to be a leader, right? You can be a leader by being a vocal guy. You can be a leader by leading by example. There's also, leadership by kind of feeling what does the room need, what does the team need, and you were definitely that guy that was serious. I'm not saying you were like a clown, but you were super serious. You gave us what we needed, but you gave us what we needed when we needed, in the sense of like comedy relief at times. The being able to be, everyone's probably a little tight. Let's just loosen this thing up a little bit. And it was, I can never think of a time that, sometimes you get people that will like that, and I'll say this for lack of a better word, a class clown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they're constantly doing it and you're like, hey, enough's enough.
Yeah.
I can never remember a time. I would say you're a good reader of the room. Like you knew when we needed it and when we didn't. You knew when to break things up. And that was definitely one of your strengths as a leader was doing that. Because, when I think of like the team that was at the height that when you and I were playing, we had some really talented guys that you could call leaders, from Heath Miller to Pounce to myself to other guys. And I would say that you would be an unsung hero in that leadership role. That maybe people wouldn't necessarily mention your name outside the building. Yeah. But if you ask the guys that were on that team, give me some of your leaders. Yeah. Your name definitely would jump in there because of what you did. And you talk about injuries. No one likes to see a guy go down on your own team. But there were certain guys when they went down, it made everyone hold their breath. It made everyone like, oh, hold on. Well, what's the famous line? Hey, move it down 5.
Move it. Move the ball. Spot it.
When someone gets hurt, if coach isn't super concerned, and I'm sorry for any of you that got this treatment, but that's just being honest. When coach tells you to respot the ball and move it 5, it means like we're practice continues.
We can continue to do our thing.
Fill it in. Let's move it down. When that happens, it's like whatever. But there are certain guys when it happens, it's like everyone stops. The crowd stops. You take a minute because you're like, well, hold on, let's figure out what's going on. Yeah. And Mo was one of those guys. When it happened, it was like, especially me as a quarterback, I want my guys out there. We would always hold on. You all right? Let's pause this thing. No, we're not moving anything anywhere. I'm checking on my guy first. Yeah. Or I'll sit out of pray. You get a new quarterback in here. Ben's checking on Ramon.
Yeah, that's what it was. My next to last year, that's what happened. Remember, Tua ran into my leg. We used to call him the Wild Mustang. DeCastro gave him that name. It was first day in pads in 2018, and Tua came in. And I thought my career was done. I was cooked. It was year 10 from him. I'm older. I'm like, what am I gonna do? It's like, I don't want to end this career on IR, none of those types of things. And when I went down, I yelled like a baby, and y'all told me this. Y'all told me this, okay? But I've never been like injured like that. Yeah. So I was more scared of like the career, everything flashing from it, and camp stopped.
That's when you got your toe stepped on.
No, it wasn't toe stepped off. that y'all did stop though. Everybody, you came over to the car, you prayed for me. Pounce was out of it. Tua was very apologetic. And for about 2-3 minutes, which is long for practice,
it is.
Everything stopped and everybody got quiet. And that just lets you know, to your point, man, your importance. Like, I ain't got the big accolades and all those types of things. But as far as team, that was a super cool, well, it sucked, but it was a super cool moment right there because I've seen dudes, hey, move it up 5. And their bodies on the ground.
Like, is he even alive? We don't know. Move it up 5. We got to keep going. Like, we've been there. I know. Yeah. Well, that's unsung hero type stuff. That just that just shows what you mean to us. So, that's
football.
That's football. You did mention. I do want to. Well, we can talk about when we talk about the Steelers. I do want to talk about Munch a little bit. Okay. Just because I think that's crazy valuable what you guys learned from him, because that's when you guys were, humming on all cylinders. Because I want to talk about the Steelers line. Okay, we can do that in the center, and we talk about Pounce a little more and everything. But I don't want to get away from that kind of stuff. But I do want to jump back into a little bit of the playoffs. Just I know this is a total pivot, but we got to hit the playoffs real quick.
Absolutely,
because it feels important for people to know, first off, that this is being filmed on Saturday, 1:35. Can you confirm that?
1:35 Eastern.
Yeah. Why are y'all not? Why? I don't understand why Nashville
is Central.
What's the difference? Can we talk about time zones?
Absolutely.
Why can't everything just be the same?
Because Central's the best. Let's start there first, okay? And I think it's a little thing called the Earth and sun.
Yeah, I think the time the sun gets here, it's been there.
Not time zones, but daylight saving. Do you guys daylight saving time?
Yeah, we do daylight savings.
Oh, it's the next one over that doesn't.
It's Chicago. No, Chicago's Central too.
But someone doesn't.
Arizona doesn't change.
Arizona and ports. I said port. What is ports? Parts of Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, Montana area.
What are we saving?
I know Phoenix doesn't, if I'm not mistaken.
What are we saving the daylight for, though?
It goes back to like
You know what I mean?
farming and like stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken. Again, useless facts at offensive linemen. No.
That's the name of a great podcast that you should start.
I was always saying it's 136 now, and we have the playoff games have not started this round, so we don't know what's happened. And so we're going to talk briefly. We're just going to keep it brief. Absolutely. We're going to talk about the games that are coming on today and this weekend. Maybe get a quick prediction because I've already done my predictions. We'll get your predictions. I'll talk about mine again. Again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. We're either going to look like prophets or we're going to look like idiots.
Prophets. No, not false prophets, though.
Not false prophets.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Just prophets.
Just prophets.
Well, the first game today is Chiefs.
Texans.
Chiefs, Texans.
First off, I mentioned this last week. Were the Texans the biggest surprise from week one?
Easily, to me. Absolutely.
Me too.
Considering Harbaugh and tough football that he plays, definitely, I didn't see them doing that to him.
I thought, like I had mentioned going into the postseason, if the Steelers had a choice, they wanted to play Houston over Baltimore.
I thought so.
And there were a lot of people that were like, no, why would I said Baltimore's playing like this right now. Houston's on the downslide.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that Houston, I mean, the 2 pick sixes, I think, 400. I mean, there were some things
Jr.,
that happened.
yeah. Why would you throw it at him?
I don't know.
Come on, Herbert.
And Houston is their defense is playing really well.
Yeah.
I like CJ Stroud, but they've had a lot of injuries. I was like, you want to play Houston.
Yeah.
That being said, Houston plays. That was one of my biggest surprises. They played the Chiefs today in the first game. Thoughts?
Thoughts on that one? Surprising. Highly surprised. One, CJ Stroud ability to use his legs, I thought was something that I didn't have on my bingo card. Like when he got outside of the pocket and started moving the chains, the entire team was rallied behind him because he's not really a runner like that. Like he'll escape to the sideline, but he ran down the middle. I thought that was game changing them. Them also getting Will Anderson back was huge for that defense.
Yeah.
Big the Neil Hunter also got after Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he can get.
And that defense is legit. D'Amico Ryan's got a nice squad, but I did not.
Injuries have taken their toll on that team.
They had,
which has been a big thing. I can't see them going into Kansas City and doing any damage. Personally, no. I think that Kansas. The only thing I guess you could talk about is Kansas City. Now the Stars have had 2 or 3 weeks off.
Yeah,
I mean they've taken some time.
They have.
We've talked about it here. Sometimes the question is, Ben, what do you think? I think when you have a veteran team like that, the time is good.
Yep.
If you have a young team taking 2 to 3 weeks off can backfire on you. You might see some rust early on, but a team like that, coached by I think arguably one of the best coaches of all time, Patrick, and that team, I think they could. I think they win by double digits. I
think the line's like 9. I do this on my show and that. It's like 9 or something like that. And I got them winning that one just simply because Patrick at home, Houston had was the home cooking also, and Justin Herbert couldn't find anything I thought last week. I don't understand why he continued to throw to Johnson, the wide receiver. Number 1, I think, is for that team. Like that blows my mind. The other side for me is too, for them in Kansas City is they got a lot of veteran playmakers. D-Hop. Kelsey, the young tight ends that they have too. The only issue that I have that the Texans can cause for Kansas City is the 2 tackles. Joe Thuney, who's played really good at left tackle, they had to move him from guard out, kind of like Marshall Yanda did for Baltimore. And Jawan Taylor on the other side. Like having Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson rush those guys is my only issue. But that's where Patrick becomes Houdini and finds Kelsey uncovered for whatever reason, and they continue to move the chains. And then, of course, Isaiah Pacheco, the animal that he is too for that offense, is big and above anything that's going on right now. Yeah,
the Chiefs just keep somehow adding
stacking
people. I don't know how they do it, but okay. Second game is
Bills Ravens.
That's
tomorrow. Right.
Tomorrow. Today. What's the second
one? Lions Commanders?
You're wrong.
Is it not
Commanders Lions?
This one, This
Commanders Lions.
To me, is probably the hardest game to pick of the weekend. Even more than Baltimore Buffalo. Wow. I feel like we know how Baltimore Buffalo can play out.
Yeah.
I don't know how Jaden Daniels.
I know.
And
you get a guy that looks like an absolute stud, and then you get a guy that's like, ugh.
And also a team that hasn't dealt with a first-round bye in Detroit with as much fanfare. I saw somewhere
they're banged up. Now they're getting a little healthy. They're getting Montgomery back.
They are getting Montgomery, which is huge for them. And the Washington's run defense has been somewhat suspect at times too. And giving Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is big time. And also, I trust Detroit's offense a whole lot more than not knowing what Jaden Daniels is going to provide on the road.
So let me ask you this: if the game was in Washington, would you feel different?
I would feel yes.
Like, do you think Detroit's going to win it anyway, or you're not? I mean, I know you're not sure. Like, I think because it's a home game, Detroit they get the upper edge. I think the Detroit, they're playing for the fans. It's at home. There's so much going on there. Coach Campbell. I think the offensive coordinator, I think it's Ben Johnson, is spectacular.
Yes.
I think you have Goff, a guy that I would love to see. Love to see the Goff Stafford.
Oh my God, run it back. Yeah.
But anyway, I think the Lions are going to get that one. I agree with what you're saying. And maybe the best way to say it is, I said it last week, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I said it's either going to be a close game or they're going to blow us out. I think that one could either be really close or the Lions are going to look like a team that that dominates.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it'd be different if it was in Washington.
So riddle me this real quick then. So do you, and not to correlate him to you, I think you were in your second, it's the second Super Bowl when you guys had to go be road warriors in 2008. Like, do you see that? Because Washington was the only team away team to win on the road. So that was
my first Super Bowl. We were the sixth seed.
Yeah. So that one. Yeah. Do you see a little bit of the unknown uncertainty of like, look, he's playing free. You don't know how predictable it is. Like they went to Tampa with a Hall of Famer, Mike Evans, and he dealed.
Yeah, so I know.
That's my only, I guess, hesitation on saying, Detroit's going to win because the young fella's got ice in his veins right now.
Well, I think that's the one thing that Washington has going for them is that there's no expectations.
No, so you
can play free because you're supposed to lose. I don't even know what the line is.
What's the line?
8.5. Detroit.
Yeah.
So and that's what we did. Like I was in my second year. We're going to Cincinnati to play, and Carson Palmer and this offense, and Ocho and Hushmanzada, and they were this team that was so good, and it's like we just got to try and make it. Now we were on the uptick because we had to win 4 in a row to get in, but
crazy,
we did it. And then it's like, okay, we did that, but now we got to go to Indy and play Peyton Manning, and we have no chance with their rush. And that game we started out throwing the ball, which threw everybody in for a loop. Heath Miller was catching touchdowns and passes, and then we obviously the whole tackle and Jerome, and then Vanderjagt still misses the field goal, whatever. And then it's like you go to the AFC Championship game, and now you're like, we're in Denver. And we're still like, well, maybe, but it takes to get to that game. Yeah. So like, I can see where Washington isn't supposed to win this, and so it's like,
I think Detroit wins.
Go play free.
Yeah, the crowd will be on their side. Ben Johnson's nice. Like the defensive coordinator is that good too. And then the Glenn, biggest,
right?
Yeah, Glenn. Yeah. Aaron Glenn. The biggest bonus that they have is they got a very veteran offensive line. Detroit. That's the best. And Goff. To your point, helps. Like I think he's
got a 2-headed monster running, so you don't have to take the pressure off you. And
then Amon-Ra St. Brown, like he's another demon that's really playing wide receiver too. So and they got a tight end. So I've already talked myself into it. Yeah, I got Detroit. My bad. I went around.
What are we doing here? I make a lot of very compelling points.
Yeah.
Get long snappers. So
either we're gonna be prophets or what after this thing.
All right, Rams Eagles. I don't know. The Eagle. I mean, I think when you have Barkley, who's you can just ride him.
Yeah.
The Rams, though, are a team that we talked about. If anyone's going to do it, it's a team like that. It's got a veteran coach, a veteran quarterback, 2 unbelievable wide receivers. I don't know enough about the rest of their. I think their defense is playing up now.
They got some young gunners on that
team. They got
to
go to Philly.
They do in the cold.
It's not going to be easy.
Did it matter? You think in the cold?
I think it does a little bit.
It does a little bit. Okay,
a little bit for those skill guys.
Especially a guy like Puka Nacua, right? Like who's, if I'm not mistaken, he's a West Coast guy himself. You got Cooper Kupp. The steadiness of Matthew Stafford. I've seen a lot of people pick the Rams.
Because of him?
Because of him.
Yeah.
The steadiness of him, how savvy. And I thought it was controversial. I somewhat hated it, but that little flick of the wrist on that screen that was a legal forward pass last week, I was just like, that's just savvy. You can't get past that. So that's where he probably gets the edge over Hurts. The biggest contingency I have on this game is A.J. Brown.
What book he's going to read on the sideline? Or?
That, and usually, and let me know if I'm wrong, when a wide receiver complains, he usually go eats the next week.
Well, coaches usually they want to keep him happy, so they find a way.
And that's where between him and Devontae Smith and Saquon, as you mentioned a second ago, too. And there's right now between them and Detroit, 2 best offensive lines in the league.
Yeah.
They will body you. Lane Johnson continues to do it. Mailata over there. They got a young group in the middle. They are good. And I think that's where they beat up that young defensive line of the Rams to me. But Jared Verse is nice. He had a scoop and score this past weekend. Braden Fisk, Byron Young, and a linebacking core is just as solid too. Did you know that Coach Lake's son plays for them?
Yes, I did know. I didn't know. Well, I mean, they kept saying Lake, and I'm looking. I'm like, that's got to be his son.
Yeah.
And he's captain and everything.
Yeah. Quentin, if I'm not mistaken.
Good player.
I just don't think they're there yet.
Yeah.
But I think Philly gets it. I'm not sure the line on that one, too.
6.5 to Philly.
6.5. I think Philly beats them. Might not be as close because Stafford can really will and deal when he wants to.
Yeah.
Just worry about the skill, to your point.
Okay.
I got Philly winning.
All right. I'm going to throw this one to you and see, because this one, I mean, I want you to give me your Ravens-Bills take. It's Baltimore 1.
I know.
Which is crazy. So go ahead. Tell me what you got, Mo.
They waited 2 years for a guy by the name of Derek. I think we saw him at a position to where I covered him in Tennessee when he was with the Titans. There's a thing called D-Hember, okay? And it's Derrick Henry season. I think D-Hember, Spence, that's what it is. D-Hember, man, and watching him run the football and the way they dismantled, I thought, respectfully, Cam, I know you guys, I love you, okay? But watching him and Lamar run and play option and get up and down the field, and it became a very physical game. And you couldn't guess if Lamar was going to keep it or Derrick Henry was going to keep it. And then they started throwing the football around. And then they put in Rashard, their Pro Bowl, the all-pro fullback. I don't know if Buffalo has enough. I don't know if Josh Allen can be enough of a wizard.
So you're
I'm picking Baltimore.
Really?
I don't think they can stop them. Especially.
Oh, I picked Baltimore too.
I said all that to say, Ben, I think Josh wins MVP. I think Lamar makes it to the show.
Wow. So even without Zay Flowers, I think he's out again.
Yeah, even without Zay. Because this will be a cold game. This will be a guess what we're doing type of game. And as much as they've done with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and just their ability to patch up that offensive line to run the football, and the other side of it for Buffalo, I like Kyle Hamilton. We're watching Kyle Van Noy get sack after sack. And they got what's been the biggest compliment to Josh Allen this year, stopping it. They got a real good defensive line that can stop the run with Cook, in my opinion.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised, but.
Okay, here's so if I think the game's going to be close, which I think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
My next question would be, not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, my next question would be, who does Roger Goodell in the NFL rather see play the Chiefs? Baltimore or Buffalo? Because that's going to be the deciding factor. I'm just calling it right now.
I think they'd rather see the Buffalo, the Bills.
I think so too.
Because of the gunslinger side. I think with Baltimore, what they're doing.
And the way that playoff game went, was it 2 years? Well, the one that
2 or 3 years ago now.
In Kansas City when they should have won, they played prevent. And it was
13 seconds left.
Yeah, 13 seconds left.
Ever. But I think that's just, again, not a conspiracy theorist, but the NFL does control the outcome of games sometimes. So that's what I want to, that's going to be, if it's close, it's like, who do we rather see?
I think you'd rather see Bills and Chiefs. I do. Because Lamar finally got over that hump of getting them, if I'm not mistaken. Did Josh Allen get him early this year too, if I'm not mistaken? Because one of those two had been battling big time trying to beat the Chiefs.
I don't remember.
But with that being said, I think most would love to see Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes because their elusiveness behind the pocket, being able to improv the way they do. I think when Lamar get outside the pocket, he's finding his target or he's running. When Josh Allen gets outside the pocket, it's like,
he's still looking to throw and
he's
make
looking
something
to
crazy
throw.
happen.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, it's been fun watching him just lumberjack down the field like that.
Yeah.
He's throwing his body on the line as much as you did, the way I look at it.
Yeah, he's got to be careful.
He got to be careful. So what's the deal then with like running quarterbacks then? Because
I guess see who lasts. What's the last running quarterback that's lasted for a long time? Lamar does it in the sense that he's not a big dude, but he's so elusive. Like he is crazy.
And he ain't running into you.
No, Josh is jumping and doing silly things, which is like, golly, which is, it's the Elway thing. It's a little bit of Kelly. It's I did it a little bit, but
it's a part of it.
It is, and sometimes you just can't help yourself. Just being honest.
Is that was your excuse?
Yeah, that's my excuse. Well, I don't know. I think
you got ball?
I like watching them both play. I went back and looked at my picks. So I have in the AFC Championship, I have Kansas City against Baltimore because I think I just feel like Baltimore is playing so well right now.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a great game. I really do, and I'd like to see it be a great game. And then I have Philly versus the Lions.
Do you trust the walk and go jack? I never, first time I heard Coach Tomlin say that was Von Miller. Can he affect Lamar enough? No. And that's where the issue lies.
The only person I've ever seen affect Lamar to the point of like he doesn't try and scramble for long periods of time he throws away is TJ.
That's exactly what I was
like
thinking.
When he's rolling out of the pocket, I'm like, okay, here goes Lamar going to do his thing, but he throws it away or gets rid of it. I don't know if it's because like. I mean, TJ's I get he's a freak and he's unbelievable, but like he's not maybe he just covers. He plays faster.
Yeah,
he's worried about cutting back. Like TJ can has good agility. I don't know what it is, but every time I watch this play, which we can talk about that game, like TJ tackling the running, he had 20 tackles on the running back with no ball, but
I know,
which obviously was coaching. They told him to hit him. Which in the past they've always hit the quarterback.
Yep.
Let the running back go hit the quarterback.
Can we say it? Tear his face off.
Absolutely.
That was it.
Anytime you do the reaction, you can kill the quarterback.
Oh
Not kill, that's probably the wrong way to say.
Well, I mean,
you can destroy him.
Yeah, destroy him.
And then instead we decided to go hit the running back and let Lamar run, which and
eventually you end up giving up to the running back anyway.
Here nor there.
To 150 plus.
But TJ's the one guy that I see when Lamar gets out. And I don't see him being scared of Von Miller, who obviously is he is unbelievable. But I just don't think Lamar's scared of. I'm not saying he's scared of TJ either. But I just don't see him being nervous or getting rid of the ball quick because he's just not worried about it.
And that's the thing too with TJ. Speaking of TJ against Lamar is TJ's relentlessness between those first 7 yards. That's 7 yards between the line of scrimmage where TJ's gotten them every single time. I feel like Von, will get upfield and affect him to get up to where there's nobody else to replace him. Or TJ's ability to change directions, I think, is his biggest component into getting Lamar. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I've seen as it pertains to TJ. You're right. He's one of the few that can get Lamar.
It's interesting. Well, as we are talking about these games, we're going to do another beer. It's that time.
Also, last time these two saw each other this season, the Ravens won 35-10.
Over the Chiefs?
Over the Bills.
They already beat the Bills. Ravens already beat the Bills?
It's week 4.
Yeah.
Baltimore?
I'm pouring a beer, but I can check.
It was in Buffalo.
And that's when the Ravens weren't playing great.
They were playing really good. I might change mine.
Yeah.
I might change
do you believe in you can't beat me twice type of thing?
I think there's
something there.
It's not you can't. I just don't think. I think there's something to.
I also don't think
getting beat.
The team that beat them there is not the same team that's going to face.
It was at Baltimore.
Yeah. Okay.
It was at Baltimore.
Yeah. Well,
and it's colder. Lamar,
they're talking about it's supposed to be like some silly cold. Like they're talking about how it's supposed to be like
all the United States is going through like this big old Arctic blast thing.
Yeah,
I think here on Tuesday it's negative 5.
Is Lamar always he wears like the head thing even when it's like hot out in the stocking cap?
Yeah,
and that's just his thing. What happens when he's really cold?
So it's a matter of, do you find yourself in a Bruce Arians type of situation? Go opposite of what they think you're gonna do. Like, do you go run or do you pass? Like, because of the elements. BA was good at that. Shout out to Bruce Arians, by the way.
He can do his stuff, man. That's why should be a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
All right, so as we venture into this next beer that Spence is going to read us, we are going to go from this beer, because we're talking about these games, into Seven's Top 7.
Okay.
And Spence will give us the topic today, but go ahead, Spence, with the beer, what we got?
So this next beer is brought to you by Creekside. It's from Dancing Gnome, which is a great Pittsburgh brewery we got here. It is a double IPA, 8% alcohol by volume. And Ramon, you'd appreciate this as the beer connoisseur.
Can I tell you what it is?
Yes,
what I think that's in?
Please.
I smell pineapple.
Pineapple.
Is that
ironically, grapefruit's in this one.
It actually is a grapefruit with pine tree.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it might have been the grapefruit tangerine spritz mixture that you were smelling there.
Kind of guy?
I am a spritz type of guy. He's catching it Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, there you go. Ripe red berry and sticky sap. All right. The hops here are Citra Mosaic and Simcoe. It's called Better 1 or 2.
Oh. Well, probably 1 since it's 8%.
Yeah, you might. Yeah. Here you go.
See, that's an IPA. See that IPA bitter?
I do get that.
You don't like that, do you?
You know what? On this one, can I say this?
Face?
Can I say this though? This one, I'm gonna sound like a pro, but I'm not. Okay, this one tastes more full to me. Like it's not like
8% alcohol. It's double the alcohol.
Hey, Spence, pour another.
Now it's a show.
You know, you get something that's like, okay, that leaves you really quick. Like this one, like holds onto your mouth, man.
Come on. See, this is what we get. My thing is, I just with Moan, this is how we have to do with Moan. You have to sometimes, you just got to move on. Sorry. Yeah. You have to just kind of keep it going. You just can't acknowledge.
We'll post this episode and be like, why is it only 20 minutes long?
Yeah, you can't
like, well, we had to cut out a lot.
We had to cut out a lot of him. Oh, there's B12 drips. This is good for you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is, so we would always talk about, this is one of those ones that I want one of those.
Yeah.
And no more. I don't need any more than one. Not just because of the percent either, but just because of that full, you're talking about that fullness, that bitters, the IBUs. And that's what the IBU is it the bitterness?
Is it what that is?
The other one, the 11th hour guy we had here, the Pilsner, the 4.4. Yeah, it's less, but you can sit on it longer. You can have a couple of them because it's lighter. It's nice.
Hey, self-control, fruit of the spirit. My guy.
He said it.
I know. I saw your face.
He said it.
So I don't look at
The
it.
fact that you
Smoke's face lit up. He goes,
Hey,
good for you, brother.
What we're going to do, Spence, is we're going to move on. Okay, can you give us the top seven, please?
sit on that longer?
No, you can't sit on that one, okay?
So this week's top
Never
seven.
grow up.
I hope you choke on that.
Never grow up, people.
This week's top seven I thought was fitting. You guys have spent a lot of time on the field together. I'm curious about your guys' top 7 NFL rivalries.
Yeah.
Like teams.
All right. So obviously, I don't imagine this would show up on your guys' list, but the playoffs started with one of, I would argue, is one of the greatest NFL rivalries of all time, which is between the Steelers and the Ravens. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Based upon your time as fans before joining the league and your time in the league.
All right. So what I'm going to do is, Spence, do you want us to rattle them all or go like one? I'm going to give my 7 and then he can argue with me.
Yeah, let's start with you, Ben. And then
he'll do his 7 and then I can agree or I can actually disagree with him.
Yep.
Okay.
7-1 or 1-7?
7-1.
Okay. Yeah. Decent.
What question is that? Why would you ever start with the best?
Is it on 1 or 2? Hard count.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we constantly did. Hey, that's another thing we can talk about at some point. These guys, every time we broke, I'll be in the huddle. Okay, just so you all can. Probably not the time to sit on this, but this might go take a while. But since we're sitting here, sit on my soapbox. So in the huddle as a quarterback, what you do is you call the play. Okay, you call the play and you tell the guys what it's on. What I mean by what it's on is what the cadence is. Okay, so it's on 1, it's on 2, it's on a hard count, it's on the quick count, it's on whatever.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when I'm in the huddle and I tell these guys the play, sometimes if it's not, most of the time you go on 1 so that everybody knows. When you changed up the cadence, what you would do is I did at least as a guy who I thought was a leader and a guy that was experienced, is I would tell the guys before I even called the play, hey guys, we're changing it up, right? So if you're going to change something up, Spence, you want to tell them that you're changing it before you give them the information. So I would give them the change information, then give them the play, then again reiterate the change.
2 points of contact there.
I feel like that's smart.
Right.
Because if I just told you, like if you had 90% of your plays were on 1, just as a number, 90%. Yeah. If I were just everyone's used to it, it's on 1, it's on 1, it's on 1. And I was like, all right, here we go. We're going to empty right, fit 2 cold on 3. Ready? Yeah. Wait. Did you, what happened? Like there's confusion.
Right.
So it's better off to be like, hey guys, we're going to go on 3 this play just so y'all be ready. All right, sit in there, let's go. All right, ready?
Yep.
So not only did I call the play in the huddle, tell them that we're changing it. When we broke the huddle, remember, you only have 25 seconds. Okay. Now, by the time the play is called, you're usually at about 15 seconds. So I have from the time I told them the play and what it's on to the time the ball snapped is less than 15 seconds. When we got to the line of scrimmage, 90% of the time, these guys were asking me what it was on. I'm not joking with you. This is real. I'm like, did you guys not just listen in the huddle? So then it got to the point where we couldn't just say it's on 1, it's on 2, it's on quick count. They needed code words.
Yep.
So I had to give them code words when we got the line of scrimmage. Hey, Pounce, a little spacing here, which meant we were going quick. Yeah. So Pounce wasn't like jumping the gun. Hey guys, we're going uno, dos, tres.
Monday,
1, 2,
Tuesday,
3.
Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. January, February, March. Real intuitive type things. Anyway, yeah, that's as we're going, as we're talking numbers. These guys, not only do I have to think about all this, I'm sitting there looking at like blitzes, this, that, and the other. 7, what are we on? Really? Really? Or they got to the point where it would be like 7, what are we on? It'd be like, Uno? No, Trace.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, enough. You don't even have a comeback because everything I said was real.
As soon as you started, I was like, oh Lord. Yep, it's true. It's all true. And then somebody would still jump off sides.
Absolutely.
Tuesday. Jump.
What are we doing? And then look at us like it was our fault. All right. My number 7 of top NFL rivalries, and I don't think anyone will argue with me on any of these because they just.
Oh, okay.
I'm going Browns-Ravens.
Browns-Ravens
Because they left Cleveland, went to Baltimore. Or no, left Baltimore, went to Cleveland, back to that. Now, whether it's a good game or not, I'm talking rivalries. That includes fans, that includes players.
Okay.
There's that fan base. I think that's a bigger rivalry than people give it credit for because of the Art Modell moving the team, whole thing. So
Old Dominion trucks. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
There you go. That's my number 7.
That's 7. That's going to be a good one. Your list should be solid. Okay. That one didn't make my list.
My list is going to be solid.
That didn't make my list.
Okay, what's your number 7?
My number 7?
Yeah.
Same conference. Brown-Cincy.
The Ohio thing?
The Ohio thing.
Yeah. I don't have that on mine either.
It's
not very good, but I'll give that to you.
Very good. I have that one because they're usually within the same spot of one another, and it's I don't want to say it's
the bottom of the barrel. The north.
You said it, not me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We talk about Cleveland all the time on this thing. So bottom of the barrel.
I'm sure you can just Google that though.
Is there any? Well, let me ask you this: are there any other interstate teams that are in the same division?
Same division?
Because obviously there's other interstates, right? So Tampa playing the Dolphins, that's not a big deal. It's interstate.
NFC.
Jets, Giants. When they may be on there. I don't have them. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think because there's not. Maybe that's why that interstate thing is also a bigger deal because it's Division 2.
And then it's that aspect of it too. It's the interstate. Like you can drive to that. Like that's why I think that's what makes the AFC North so unique too.
Yep. I'll give you. I don't mind that one.
Okay.
I for my number 6. I actually put a little arrow and switched it with one. I'm going to go, and there's a reason for this. I'm going to go Pats Colts. The only reason I'm saying that is because for a while there in the 2000s, it was Brady and Manning.
Sure was.
It was the players. It was like people were waiting to see those two teams play. Now, obviously, the teams, like, that's not really a true rivalry, but when you talk about top 7 rivalries, I think that's got to fall on your list because of those two quarterbacks that played against each other over and over and over.
That was must-see TV. That was, I'll say this too, you were in that conversation too. Like that, your era, like our era, I say your, like I'm not in that one too. Like your era specifically with those quarterbacks, like it was must-see TV. That is what I am hoping does happen. Like Justin Herbert, unhitch the wagon. Let's go.
Do the new thing. Like, I agree with you.
Get in there, okay? I can see that, and I'm glad you put it that way too, because my number 6 it correlates to the same thing that you're on too. This one for me, my 6, Chiefs Ravens, because of the same thing.
Very interesting.
Chiefs Ravens. Can you knock off the big dog, Lamar? He's got the MVPs. He's checked every box. But can you consistently get past him?
Get past Pat.
Yes, get past Pat.
Yeah.
Yes. When it counts.
When it counts.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you say that. For my number 5, I put Chiefs Bills. Same thing, right? Can Jared Allen do the same thing with Patrick?
Yeah.
Same thing. And that's the newer rivalry that's kind of brewing.
Yeah.
But I was kind of torn. Do I do the Ravens? So you can maybe put all 3 of those, and it's probably Buffalo. So maybe it's a everything you say, you have to be careful with Ramon. Maybe it's a 3
rivalry.
It's a 3-team thing.
Yeah, okay.
With the Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. Like however you want to play those 3, maybe. Like there's something there. But I'm with you. So that was my 5. How it correlated with yours? What was your 5?
My 5, just because of the history of it, like Eagles, Cowboys. Cowboys hadn't held up their end of it as often, but what I did love though was the Eagles crowd just going at Jerry when he was at there. I'm petty, you know.
Yeah, you are petty.
I'm petty.
You are
so the fact that they won't let it die, even when the Cowboys aren't at their peak, you can't dismiss that one.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Which is where my number 4 falls very similar. I picked the Packers Bears. Okay. Same sort of thing. The division thing again. The Bears they haven't won or done anything, but just I felt like I had to put the Packers in there, and just feels like it's always like snowing, and again, it just feels like a rivalry. It probably isn't really because the Packers have won so many of them, but it just that I put that in same sort of thing.
The history,
the history of it.
Is that the same thing where Aaron Rodgers is like continue like when Jordan Love beat him, like continue the ownership?
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's that one. My 4 to that same point
because you can't do the same. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But the same sort of thing is like I don't think it's fair. I didn't put on here like the Steelers Browns because it's not really a rivalry, right? So I imagine that's just like that's a domination. Did you put on? Okay, I'll let it go.
That's
but anyway,
4.
That's your 4?
But you know why? Yes, because all right. So if you're asking me to do a list, it's got to be history. It's got to be the setting, and it's also got to be personal. I feel like that's how it is.
Okay, that's why I didn't put them on there. Yeah, of course.
All right, bet.
That's why I didn't put them on there because I don't see it as a rivalry.
They're my 4.
That's a win every year. That's 2 wins a year.
They're my 4. I know easily.
Okay,
Give me a little bit. Can we get a little bit? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's almost
So
like
that's
me
your 4.
smacking Pound's butt right there.
Yeah, and
Monday.
you've whiffed before.
I did.
He's whiffed.
Easily. Okay, but I even put a note beside it. Steelers Browns because the hate is so real.
There's no doubt about that.
Going in, I've never, as to your point, as bad as they were, 0-16. I'm talking about 1-5 at a time.
Cars are already shipped out.
Easily. I'll be asking to my petty point. You shipped your cars down south yet? That was me, man.
All these things are real.
Just because as bad as they were, the crowd wouldn't let you not think that they were good.
I don't disagree with that.
And there's not a more battered down fan base than Cleveland, and there's not a more hateful fan base for us than Cleveland.
Which is why at one point we did a top 7, or I don't know if it was a top 7, but we did something where like top fan bases.
Yep, top
and I put Cleveland in my top 7, maybe in top, because I'm like, they're dying.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you don't go to games and pack them, even when you're terrible, if you don't really truly love it. So I'm with you. I gave them props for that.
I did it because of the hate.
There you go. I don't disagree. Number 3, and this is again tradition history. I'm going Steelers Cowboys. Mostly that 70s, like where it is. I think that if you talk to people and say, hey, like, wait, you're a Steeler fan or you're a Cowboy fan. It's like, yeah, I grew up in the 70s. I had to choose one. It's like when you had to, if you grew up, you had to choose one of 2 teams. Facts. It was the Steelers or the Cowboys. And so I put them on there for tradition. To
his credit, too, Coach T always gave us that history lesson of that game, too, which is kind of cool. I didn't know a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fair and fitting. I didn't make my list. The next one would be Rams, 49ers.
Yeah.
That is, but they're not close. Rams are NFC and 49ers are also. West also.
Yeah.
But I've seen fights in that one currently. Like Aaron Donald trying to wreck the 49ers. Yeah. Like, I mean, just watching how each team's trying to position themselves and just how the fans fight in the stands. So that to me, I hate that they had to move them from Kansas City. The Rams, but them going back to LA, I thought brought more of a purist effect to it, though.
Yeah.
So that was
from St. Louis.
St. Louis. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I like that one. My number 2 is Cowboys Niners.
Cowboys. Oh my god.
Because that's me. That's me. Grew up in high school watching those teams. I mean,
Deion switching teams.
It's even T.O. going to the Star. It's Aikman. It's Young. It's Montana. It's Rice. It's all those guys. I mean, it's just those. That's a good one for me.
That made the NFL, I think, more must see TV. That rivalry.
I would agree. I agree during that
that's
time.
A solid one. Didn't make my list, and I'm almost mad at myself for not doing that.
You're not a thinker.
I mean, offensive linemen better thinkers than defensive linemen, though.
Agreed.
Okay, that was a quick answer too. I had to step on somebody else real quick though. My number 2, Packers Bears. Just because, and not recently, but the history of the league, you can't discount it. Those fans care.
That's what I said.
I think it was the, which game was it? The last game of the season. That crowd was still packed out in Chicago.
Yeah.
Was it Christmas break, if I'm not mistaken? And it was just, you can't get away from that one.
Is that the first one we've agreed on? First one we've had on this, and yours is 2 and mine was 4. It's not far off.
It's not far off.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
My number 1 is Steelers Ravens.
Easily. I went 1 first on my list. So I was like Steelers Ravens. Easily.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's not even much to say about it. It's. I got to do that intro. Did you watch the game? The intro.
I did.
Like they asked if I would do it, and they're like, "We're gonna get either Ray or Ed Reed." I'm like, absolutely.
Easily.
I loved what my favorite thing about the whole thing was when I watched it, I was like, man. he looks like the villain and I look like the superhero. I look like the good guy. He looks like the bad guy.
But that's how they prefer it, though.
I know it is.
I know. But it's mine, too. I never forget the first time I played in it. Willie Cologne. Shout out to Willie, man. Dude, I love you. You're a brother. He took me under his wing, like all of those things. I never gave you're not a Steeler until you win that game. And it was real. They what we had when I came under you guys was guys that understood the history. Stuff was passed down. Game's importance was passed down. Like, you weren't just playing the game. You were playing, it made you feel like you was playing for your life almost when you went up against those matchups. But what I will say, if I had Brown Steelers 4, and I said because of the hate, I think you got to have Steelers Ravens 1 because of the respect.
Yeah.
Like,
I always tell people that, like, I hated playing the Ravens because you were going to get beat up, but you were going to get beat up in like a legal, like a way that was just like physical as football, and you were going to hate playing that game.
Yeah.
I was going to get beat up playing Cincinnati too, but it was like I was worried about the dirty.
Yeah.
Like the cheap stuff.
From day one.
From instant. So it's like there's difference in terms of how you view those teams. Like, there's a lot of hatred towards Baltimore, but it's a respectful hatred. Because you were going to go out and beat the crap out of each other, but do it in a way that was just like I joked and I said on the thing, like, I'm going to get, like, Ray would pick me up and slam me, which he would have been kicked out of 4 games nowadays, right?
Easily.
Because it's just like the way that he wanted to instill pain on people, but he also might help me up when he did it.
Yep.
And I remember there were times that I would be under a pile, like you got a bunch of guys, and like my leg or something would be a little twisted. Yeah. And this is a true story. And he would do it, and so would Suggs, and I would be like sometimes in the pile you're like, my leg or something like this on there. And some guys would like keep twisting. Like those guys would hey, get off guard. Like they would almost, because they didn't want to play you. They didn't want to, like, there's no way I wanted to play Baltimore if Ray was like, Ray's out this game, just doesn't feel the same. Or Suggs or Reed or Nada or Scott or McAllister. I mean, name them. I didn't want to play those guys without their best out there.
Easily.
And they would do the same thing where they're like, no, watch out, don't do that. And if they had a young guy, there have been times too that when we would play Baltimore, a young gunner would come
Arthur
in.
Smith.
It would come in the league.
Arthur Jones
would come in the league
D-lineman.
and be a little dirty, a little something, and his own team would check him. We don't. That's not how we play this game. This rivalry's not done that way. We don't do that. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna pass that on. Like, that's the respect that we would have, and we would do the same thing to our guys. Like, no, we don't. We play this game physical and fair. We're not dirty. And then that's what I respected about that rivalry.
We wanted to beat you down. And we wanted you to know, like, there was no refs. There was no, like, involvement outside of, like, just pure football. And that's what I appreciate about it. So much so I told you I had something I had to ask you, too.
Oh, yeah.
So in that series, though, as a young guy for myself, I never forget, and I've always appreciated you. I've said it numerous times in other places, never to you. And I was just like, why? So there was a situation where I was young. Haloti Nada was that guy. And I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but he ended up sacking you over me one time. One of my most embarrassing plays. I thought I was about to get cut. You gonna hate me forever. But he ended up breaking your nose on that play.
Yep.
Okay? You never mentioned it to me. You never said anything about, Moan, why did you do this? Or, Moan, you never. And that's the testament of one, being a great teammate, great person, and just understanding the game. Do you remember that? Of course you remember a broken nose.
I can smell it on the corner.
You never made me feel, as an undrafted player, young in the league, like you ruined. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't do anything. Like, you never mentioned it.
Yeah.
I thank you for that, though, because it might have crushed me in the moment because I felt it. You know what I'm saying? I think I came and saw you at the hospital.
What would have made you worse is me getting on you.
Yeah.
Listen, I've always felt like when guys make a mistake, if they're professional and they care about their job, right? There's a difference. If guys are like, they're slappies or they don't really truly care about their job and they make a mistake, then I want to get on them. If guys truly care about the team, about their job, about protecting someone, like I said, you had a lot of heart. Nobody feels worse about that situation than you.
I did.
Already.
Yeah.
So what does it help your mentality? What does it help your confidence? What does it help you to continue to go out there and block? Because I never missed. I was coming back out there. It wasn't like I never missed a play. Like, if I get on you and make you feel worse, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to step up and play harder, which you're already playing your butt off. I didn't have to worry about that. Or you were going to shut down.
Yeah.
and then be in the tank, and then I'm going to get pounded even worse.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how I try to approach as a leadership and approach different guys was if they no one feels worse. If I throw a pass to again, the person has to like prove to me that they care too, right?
Okay.
If you've got a guy that's like he drops a ball and he's like, oh, whatever. You know, like, what good does it do anybody for me to yell at a guy that drops a touchdown pass? Because no one feels worse than he does.
That's true.
And so, giving up sacks, like to me, no one works harder than you guys up front anyway. And so your job is so thankless and so hard when you watch an ESPN Sports Center clip, a highlight, anything like that. No one's talking about, man, look at this protection.
Right.
You guys are the unsung heroes of that group. I never wanted to get on you guys and make you feel bad. Like we've talked about on this show. I've told other people, like everybody up front was motivated. I could motivate them or discipline's the wrong word, get on them differently, right? Everybody was different. Yeah. I could challenge guys differently, right? Some guys I had to get in their face and yell. Yeah. Some guys I could just give Willie says all the time, man, when 7 gave me a look, I knew what was up. Like he just a look sometimes was
absolutely.
It, right? But I never wanted to embarrass or bring you guys down. And so I tried to find ways to communicate, to do that stuff. And so that was always and I'm not saying someone's out there probably watching us like, he yelled at me. Well, everyone's different, right?
Yeah.
And so I just knew that no one felt worse than you guys in that situation. And so when if I got sacked, like I'd get mad if I got sacked and someone walked off the field. Yeah. Like you better help me up.
Absolutely.
You better do something.
Yeah.
Act like you care.
Yes.
If you don't care, then I'm going to not care about you.
It's a wrap thing. And you know those guys too. I never brought it up to you, and you never brought it up to me. But like I've said it before, it's like 7 was the best person in that moment right there because you never even said a thing about it. Yeah. I think I came to the hospital to see you after the procedure and everything. I was just like, is he okay? Oh my God, I'm about to get cut because I had nothing under my resume enough to justify that moment being okay. But I think I made it up.
Well, that's interesting. Because actually the last note I had today was to talk to Ramon about the sack. I'll cancel that out.
Cross that out. That'd be weird now.
Well, it's embarrassing now, but no, that's a great Sevens rivalry, man. Or top sevens. Thank you for doing that. And I'm glad because I would have felt really bad if you would have come here and be like, hey, someone will talk to you about it. Do you remember when I gave that sack and you just screamed at me?
Yeah. I'd really like you to apologize.
You see my nose? No. Straight still. No, those are some awesome rivalries.
They are.
I feel like before I know Evan's going to be coming down here with some food before long. We should probably get into this last season because I still want to, and we can bounce into some stories because I love talking about I love talking history, but I do want to talk a little bit because I know the fans will want to hear from your perspective as well as more of mine, and we can bounce some things off each other. But let's talk briefly first. Because I think it's important for a couple of reasons. You're covering the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I cover.
You're their sideline radio
reporter. Yeah, radio.
Radio or TV? Radio.
Yeah,
okay,
radio.
so you go all the games. You're down on the field. You're in the trenches. You're watching. You're listening. So you're covering the Tennessee Titans. They've obviously had some issues this year, not just in terms of the football team, but specifically quarterback situation.
Right.
If we want to talk that, but I think the interesting thing that I'm more curious that I'd love to talk about is. The Titans have the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
And I think that's a unique thing to talk about. Maybe I don't know what you're allowed to tell us or what you think, but I'd love to see just kind of like what's going on in Tennessee. Coach, is the coach the same?
General manager changed. General manager got fired. Yeah,
and that's Callahan. That's Coach Callahan's son.
The old
Bill Callahan's son. That's
Bill
cool.
Callahan's son. Yeah, so father and son on the same staff.
So his son's the boss?
Son's the boss.
That's awesome.
Do you believe that, though?
I love it. Probably not. Son, I'm going to have a little talk with your mom tonight. No, but like kind of what do you see? What happened this year? What do you see as the future of that team briefly, quickly? What's the quarterback? Will Levis, is he the answer? What do they think there? What are your thoughts there?
Having a number 1 overall pick is something we never really dealt with here. So it's kind of a unique situation. There's a lot of losing. When you lose, people get let go. Like not just players, but front office folks. They fired their general manager, Rand Carthon. They ended up hiring recently on Friday, Mike Borgonzi. He's a front office guy with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Chad Brinker is president of football operations. I think it's Chad Borgonzi. So that's the way it goes. So they got the number 1 overall pick. They have an option to go get a quarterback, Shedeur or Cam Ward, right? Mm-hmm. Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward. And the way I look at this situation is they're not in a position.
Really?
No. They have way too many holes to try to spin and do too much in free agency. I feel like where they are as a franchise, and I've said this on my show from time to time too, but more intimately here, as a franchise, they got to figure out what they are.
Okay.
Meaning, you go from Bud Dupree to Alex Highsmith. You go from T.J. Watt to James Harrison. You go from, like, there are templates in which the Steelers have as a team. The offensive line is always going to be a thing. The defensive line is always going to be a thing. You know what you're looking for as far as running backs from coach from the Steelers. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Titans have that in place for certain. And they need an offensive lineman. They need offensive line. They need more depth on the defense as far as the D-line, the linebackers, secondary.
So a quarterback is a wasted pick. Well, you're ruining
in my opinion. I don't think you can put him in a position where Jaden Daniels is with the Commanders because they have more stability than I think people would have said in the moment.
Yeah.
And considering where Cam is coming from, Ward and Shedeur also, I think they need a little bit more nurturing with how they're going to go about surrounding them with talent. As it stands right now, the Titans have Calvin Ridley, and that's it at wide receiver. Mm-hmm. If we're talking about like X-player, coach come in and say, this guy's who we're watching. And as far as running backs, they got two really good ones. Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, pretty good too. I just think they need a right guard, and got a free agency, and they also need a right tackle. Okay, and from there, they just got to stack and get more depth. If I understand what I know about their present operation, I think is his title, Chad Brinker, he wants a lot of picks. The same way he's from Green Bay.
So if I hear you correctly, you're saying trade down.
Trade back.
Trade back and get, okay.
They're not positioned, in my opinion.
Not even to take like Travis Hunter or like a skill guy like that?
Yeah, they can go from like 1 to 3. Take a Travis Hunter, or I think one of the biggest things the fans have been saying, they don't want to see Abdul Carter out of Penn State because I think Jacksonville's in a position where they can go get him.
Who I don't even know.
And Jacksonville Titans,
linebacker,
outside, he's the edge guy from Penn State.
The rusher number,
the rusher
11.
Yeah,
okay,
the legendary number 11.
Yes, I got you. Interesting.
Trade back is where I would be.
So do you stay with Will, or do you go to Mason? Do you get another? I don't know if Mason's under contract.
Neither.
Do you go somewhere completely different?
Neither, and I'm going against what you say. You say you never judge a quarterback until 3 years.
Yeah.
I think you've seen what you've seen out of Levis. So in his defense, he's had 4 different offensive coordinators in 4 years. So. But his decision making hasn't been the best. You've seen it. You laugh for a reason, right?
It's been kind of funny to watch.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and here's what I also say too. Most times, guys coming into the league in year 1, you'll see what they're going to be. Mm-hmm. Year 1 with him, and especially all 17 games this year that he actually played, whenever he played in, I didn't see enough of playmaking that justifies keeping him. Now, as a backup, let him learn, maybe get some for him if you decide to trade him like a Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
But franchise guy, not now.
Well, then, so that would lead me to, because you opened that door, like here in Pittsburgh. It's that obviously the quarterback situation is huge. Justin Fields is obviously one of the options. Mm-hmm. Now, Justin is a lot like Will in the sense that he's had however many years he's had a coordinator and a different coordinator every year.
Facts.
So, do you try and bring him back this year with the opportunity to be in the same system for another year? Obviously Russ is, what's Russ going to ask for? Is he going to ask for 30 to 35, which some of these quarterbacks are making? I personally wouldn't. It is cheap, but I personally wouldn't do that. Yeah. I think there's a number. I don't know what that number is, but I think there's a number depending on what your cap and stuff looks like. But like I said, you said the same thing about Will. Is there some sort of merit to Justin keeping him in Pittsburgh? Which again, I don't know how much you watch of the Steelers, but is there a merit to keeping him here and making him your starter next year, and giving him another year in the system, seeing what else you can bring with him? I mean, he was 4-2.
Yeah.
When they changed,
and see, that's the thing. So it'll probably line up the same with Will and Justin in a sense, but here's the difference: Justin's won games. Will, I think, is well below. Will Levis is well below 500 as far as wins and losses. So I can build off of that, knowing that this guy has a winner's DNA in him. Mm-hmm. The thing that you have to deal with as far as Justin goes is what is Arthur Smith going to do? That
is he staying or is going? Is that what you mean, or staying or going, or just in terms of what he wants to do?
If he stays, if Arthur Smith stays here, what kind of offense do you run? Because what I saw from him in Tennessee was this: run the football, play action, and then dump it off. Like that's what I've seen.
That's what
from
it feels
him.
like they're doing here too.
And that's where I feel like the Steelers have to make a decision the same way Baltimore did with Lamar Jackson. You remember when Greg Roman said, "We're throwing out everything. We're going to Lamar's specialty." Like that has to be done. And if that means changing the offensive line coach, receivers coach, finding different weapons that surround him with, because as good as a quarterback can be, they got to have weapons.
Well, that's what we've talked about all year. There's been George is a great football player, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get in terms of all the extra stuff.
Exactly.
But there's been no number 2. So if you people are talking about getting rid of George, which I'm like, okay, what value do you get? Because if you're going to get rid of him, it has to happen now.
Yep. Because
otherwise he's going to go into his 5th year or his 4th year, whatever it is, and then all that. The only value you're going to get is right now.
It is.
Him. But if you get rid of him, now you don't even have a 1.
Calvin. I say that tongue in cheek. I love Calvin. Shout out to Calvin too. He's a Calvin. Either way, what I'm saying is this. It's same fraternity. What I'm saying is this. Calvin is a nice piece. He's down the field somewhere. His routes have gotten better. I must give him that. He's become a better route runner and being able to, change up his routes. Calvin Austin, yes. But to that same point, dive in. Roman Wilson didn't play much this year, if any.
We didn't see him at all. Training camp.
I don't think he did.
He took one snap as a dummy,
what are we doing?
a decoy.
Yeah. So that's my thing, though, too. It's like, go ahead and sell out for it. Like, I know Pittsburgh is a very defensive team, and, hey, it's one in the trenches, but there's only so much you can do. The only, contingency I have, the only grace I give the Steelers is what I said about this offense, specifically the offense. I think they've done well while reloading. Mm-hmm. If you feel what I'm saying, let me walk you through it real quick. One receiver, basically. Calvin's a nice piece, but you still got to have plays for him. Is the way his career has gone, right? And you go to the other guys on the list. And Pat, there'll be games where you don't go to Pat Freiermuth. Why? Mm-hmm. Is there something that you can lean in with him?
We've been asking
either.
So that's my thing as it pertains to Arthur Smith. What are you going to do with these weapons, and how many more are you going to bring in? Also, are you going to break the mold and go get somebody in free agency? And then the other side of that too is this. I say reloading. The Steelers are winning while reloading. That offensive line is young. Mm-hmm. It turned out to be young.
Like them, though.
Yes, I love them. I think they're across the board athleticism and talent. Respectfully, it's probably better than ours. Mm-hmm. Pounce is probably arguing me to death about that. But Zach, I don't think is not in the same conversation as Pounce. But what I'm saying is this: as far as youth, grit, and talent, they got it. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of what are you teaching them and what are you asking them to do too. Because there'd be times where BA would be the main one. We ain't fighting City Hall this week. Mm-hmm. And he walks into the room, we ain't running the ball. I'm like, why are we not running the ball? And I feel like those guys, those young guys, have been forced to do what coaches are asking them to do, and they're not experienced enough and don't have enough moxie in them yet to get it done. Yeah. I think Broderick is an amazing athlete. Put him in space. Let him run screens. Get him around the corner. I think Zach can snap and pull.
I think he's having it looks like a lot of mistakes a game though.
So to that point, Arthur, figure out who you want as your offensive line coach, your wide receiver coach, your tight end coach, and what the heck are you going to do game plan wise to break Tennessee? I felt like we knew. Most people say this when they're sitting on couches. I feel like you knew what the game plan was going to be sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like you could see it. If you having a hard decision on if you want to run Najee or Jaylen Warren, then maybe you shouldn't be making those decisions then. Like if Jalen's hot, run him. Be a great teammate, Najee, if it bothers you. Be in a position to make those hard decisions.
Yeah.
But still, reloading is the way I see it.
Yeah. I think that's probably, again, I love the line. I love the center, Frazier, right?
Zach Frazier.
Yeah,
Zach Frazier.
Yep.
Love the way he plays. Love his toughness. He reminds me of what you want as a Pittsburgh Steelers center.
Yeah.
I would like to see him take, and I don't know him, Blaine Stewart, who was, in Pittsburgh, he was coaching in West Virginia, said that when they drafted him, like, what's this kid like? He goes, he's going to be an all-pro. Like, wow. Okay.
I see it.
Toughness, this, that, and the other. I think you need to have another leader on the offense, and I've always said, I've said on this show, I've said it many times, you have to have a lineman. There needs to be a lineman that needs to be a leader. And I don't know that we've had that in a while, like a true offensive lineman that's a leader. And so since, you guys and Pounce and you need to have that guy, when Pat Freiermuth, who, we've talked about this, Pat's a really good football player and he's a a tight end.
Yep.
It's hard for a tight end to be the main leader, but he needs backup, and you need to have that lineman because you guys are like such a clique in a group.
It is.
And it works together. And I'd like to see him take the next step in being a leader and being a guy that can turn around it to a running back. Be like, no, listen, this is how we're doing it. Or, hey, grab a receiver by the collar. Be like, no, we're not doing it like this. You know, like we need to see more of that on the offensive side of the ball.
I would 100%. But here's the other question. I mean, here's the other thing, though. I'm on the outside. I ain't in our locker room.
Yeah.
I ain't got no involvement in my conversation with the guys inside the locker. As more you retire, gets shorter and shorter. But, right, because you're separated from it. With that being said, I couldn't tell you, to your point, Seven, who is the unprecedented leader, other than saying Russ because he's got the years, or Isaac Seumalo because he's got the years too. Mm-hmm. Who is the guy that you can say is Pouncey like, myself, you, Heath, even Al in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's the guy? And then when you move outside of the seven, like the offensive line, who's the receiver that's pushing somebody? Who are the receivers leaning on? Like, I saw Broderick and George Pickens have a powwow after he got a flag, right? But, like, how often is that happening inside of the room? Mm-hmm. So somebody probably say, you're making excuses for them. I can make an excuse and say they're young as heck.
Yeah.
But they are.
They are.
And who actually, Seven, to that point, led them to understand what it means to play like a Steeler? Mm-hmm. Who's led them to understand that a bad team, I ain't gonna call it, well, the Colts, like, they want to beat the heck out of you. And you can't submit to, we're just the Steelers, we can roll the ball out. Yeah. You remember that one year, it might have been like 13 or 14. It was in between the years of 12 to 14. Where I think we lost like 4 preseason games. We started the season off 0-4, and we all had a conversations like, we can't do this again. And that next year in training camp, it was we won in every preseason game. We can't start slow. Who's having that conversation with those guys to recognize you are a Steeler? Teams come, like, we get 5, 6, 7 primetime games a year because you are. And I don't know if that message is resonating or somebody that's a peer. You could say that to us.
Yeah.
Who's a peer that's saying that to the guys?
Well, I think that's the thing you've lost is the defense has some guys in Cam and TJ and that know the Steeler way. But to me, it's almost like, and I've said this and I've gotten ridiculed on this show for saying the Steeler way just isn't what it used to be.
Right now.
It just doesn't feel like you have that on offense right now.
Offensively, no. I don't think you do. I think you got something special with George, as you said. You can find something with Justin. Russ served this purpose too if they choose to, recommit to him.
Yeah.
But even still, we're having that conversation.
I know.
Is the biggest issue, real quick, golly, now you got me going. is the biggest issue we hadn't sucked enough?
Well, I mean, that's what the question you ask is like, are you better off not being good enough for a while and getting some better picks and knowing what it's like to lose? I mean, the problem is I think that and I'm not going to say the fans because they're over it, but the problem is like that whole, you live in this world of never being below 500. And now it's like, is that the new bar? Is a new bar 500? Like we just got to have a winning season? I wouldn't think that that's what you want, where you want to be. It's a cool thing to have on the way to winning Lombardis. Yeah. But not where you want to live.
Yeah. And to that same point, as what change do you make? Okay, we're talking about Coach Tomlin. Like, do you say, I'll put it this way, and this is my opinion. I didn't want him fired, but I also thought this. If there was a year to move on, I thought it was this one, considering the circumstances. 5 straight losses, another first-round bounce. Yeah. Offense looked anemic, but you still have some bones. If you have a guy in mind that you wanted to bring in, I don't know who the guy is.
It'd have to be someone that you felt super comfortable with that you knew could turn it around right now. Because you don't have that, because you don't want to lose the defense of the guys you have on defense. But
that's what we do.
The question is Coach T's message getting stale? Is it just going over people's heads? Is all the stuff like I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know.
And then do the guys understand the messaging? Yeah. Like I will say this too. I do believe players have to own some of it.
Oh, no doubt.
George getting flags, Broderick not finishing. Dan Moore, I'm a big Dan Moore fan.
I like Dan a lot too.
But like
Dan would have fit in with our group, with your group a lot.
I think Zach would have too. Yeah, I think so. Isaac definitely would have, right? Mm-hmm. But like, who's telling Broderick? Like, I'm seeing him, as far as I can read offensive line, not finish to a strain. Yeah. On like certain plays. I'm watching also the offense. run into nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how much of it do you give grace if we're into that? And that's been my other point of it too, is clearly front office and Coach Tom are in love with each other. If they are, I can't force them to break up.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. But what is, to the point that I'm making, the point that gets you over the hill?
I don't know.
I know one of them.
What's that?
They ain't got a 7.
Well,
I've said that before, and I wanted to say it to your face. Like, there's a lot that goes into, I never forget at the end of yours, like, people, these needs to be done. Respectfully, you'll get Kenny Pickett. And we see how that turns out. And then after you trade away Kenny, you go into the free agency market of finding a quarterback. This is why there are rules in place for quarterbacks. This is why every team is searching for the one. Because when you got one of them, it does. And the coaches know it too. It covers up a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good bit of it, because if we're talking about leadership on the field, one of my best friends, good friends, in my wedding, Gerard Mayo, said something and got fired and got lit up on social media because of it. But I'll say this to you, and I wonder how you'll feel about it. Maybe you're not supposed to say it out loud, but they were asking him about the performance of the team and stuff like that with the Patriots. And he said, look, I prepped them all week long. He was like, when they cross those white lines, it ain't much I could do for them. Is there truth in that, 7?
For sure. I mean, listen, there's you know, we always say playing football is it's a game of chess, right? You've got two coaches that are the coordinators that are putting the players out there to put them in the best position to play. But at the end of the day, the players are the ones playing. The players are the ones that have to make decisions. You know, we used to joke with coaches. They'd be like, okay, what do you want us to do in this look if they give us this defense?
Yeah.
Like, well, they probably won't. What do you mean they probably won't? What if they do?
Yeah.
What if they give us cover 0? They blitz everybody. Where's our hot? They won't do that.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared for
Absolutely.
what if.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I can watch as much film as I want and be prepared for them on third down to play this coverage or this coverage. Like, this is their tendency. But at the end of the day, when you're out there, they might do something completely different.
Yeah, I agree.
So you can be prepared. You have to have a plan, work the plan, and then plan for the unexpected.
Yeah.
So when you're out there and I'm playing quarterback and I'm all of a sudden I come under center and it's 3rd and 5 and they're showing me cover 0, but the scouting report says they never do cover 0 on 3rd and 5, well, then I need to have a plan.
Yeah.
I need to make an adjustment. I need to be ready for that adjustment. And that's what you have to do. So coaches can prepare players all they want. And a good coach is going to get you prepared. But at the end of the day, when you step between those lines, the player has to react to what they see.
Man.
And that's why I loved having the no huddle, having the offense in my control and doing that, because you prepared me and you've given me the stuff to think about. But now I'm seeing things. I might be seeing what you told me, or I might be seeing something different. But I can adjust and make changes the way I see them and get us in the best play, the best situation possible off of situations, off of past experiences, whatever it may be. So that's why I think when teams are in that no huddle, that up tempo, when the quarterback's feeling it and going,
you're in control.
You're in control, and you have a better chance of success because you're reacting and also you're forcing the defense to react to you.
Yeah.
And so I think there's something to it. It's just like when I always joke on the show, and we'd be going no huddle, and as much as, you know, we might be in our 10th play of the no huddle.
Yeah.
Y'all would look at me and be like, hey, they're done. Let's go. Let's go. Keep going. And y'all would be tired too, but it's different because you guys could see them wear down.
We could dictate
whatever
moving forward.
7, think about this. I got you.
Yeah. Like,
hey, they got nothing. Let's go run it on them, Ben.
And
all
then
right, cool.
When you pressed them at the line of scrimmage, and we knew, like, oh my gosh. You remember when we were in Seattle? It was loud as heck. And we were in a little bit of that mode because I think we had to catch up. And you told D'Angelo Williams, you gave him a route in the air and you actually threw the ball. You went, D-Will, here. And you threw the ball to him. That was by far one of my most Ben moments ever, man.
Go.
Yeah. But like the control aspect of like playing the game and being able to dictate, I don't think this squad has that right now.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? And it takes time we built up to that also, but then also your experience in the league and confidence in yourself allowed that to happen, the experiences. So
that's funny.
I don't know how far they are.
Yeah,
but
I don't know either. I don't know if there was an answer. Obviously, you'd do it. I don't know if there's one answer, but I think there's some soul search. And what did Tom say? There's nothing's off limits or nothing. I forget how he said it, but you know, there's everybody in that building needs to look long and hard in the mirror.
They need to feel it.
And they need to understand what's going on. And we used to joke, like, you get a lot of finger pointing, you got some more thumb pointing.
Yeah.
There needs to be a lot of thumb pointing and just figuring out, like, and that's talking together. It's, you know, it's like it needs to be the Ramon mentality where you should never be comfortable.
Never be comfortable.
I think sometimes you get guys that get too comfortable and they're just sitting there.
It was it's a fascinating situation. It is. Like I said, you know, man, I'm a Coach T guy. And as it pertains to him being able to do the job, like, he can do the job. But it does, Ben, to your point, it's just like a marriage. It's a marriage. Like, we got to change.
Yeah.
We got to figure out, okay, do we start going on dates more? Like, there's a lot of that has to happen. And if it is hard conversations, he would say, what? Our game is football.
Yeah.
Our business is winning. Like, this fan base is rabid.
Yeah, they want it. And you'll see when Evan comes down, when he said last week, he said, blow it up. Blow it up.
But to that same point, ain't many, you win too much.
Yeah. Well, you get comfortable with winning. There needs to be some discomfort. And there needs to be some understanding that, listen, we can't just be doing this all the time.
Yeah, Coach C said that there will be changes at every level at a press conference. What does that mean? What should that mean, Ramon?
What should that mean?
Everybody should be on guard.
If it's minimizing yourself, right? If it's imploring the OC and the DC to do their thing, be comfortable doing that. If it's, hey, I like you, I love you as a position coach, but there's another step for us to make. They do it to players often, right? If it's a model of training camp that has to be changed, do that. Like, pick up every single rock, like, and be real about it too.
You're saying not only just personnel, but procedure. Systems.
It may be that. Like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Steelers have one of the smallest staffs. There are some, I say this respectfully, there are some nerds out here that would love to walk inside of 3400 South Water Street and tell you, you probably shouldn't do that. you tell me the analytics of, and maybe I hadn't been in the building to be upstairs and know how big the analytical department is, but, like, that's a huge part of the game. That's Andy Reid. That is Sean McVay. That is Sean Payton. That is these young gurus, Ben Johnson, that you spoke about recently, or we spoke about earlier. Like, there are facets of the game that doing tool days probably might not help.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love the grittiness that Pittsburgh possesses, and I don't think you should lose this, because that's what I said I liked about what Baltimore is going to take to Buffalo. You need that component. But the fact that Lamar was able to just run the ball and you tackle Derek, I get the plan. But when does the adjustment happen? What do we do on challenges moving forward?
You used to say that all the time. We had the best coaches in the business because we would make more halftime adjustments and changes. And that I used to think that was really, like, what separated us from other people was the halftime adjustments.
Yep.
Evan.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Spence, you want to grab that third beer?
Yeah,
I'm all right.
Are you making
I know what that
trips?
is.
This is part one?
Ooh.
Okay, you go get part two. Don't hurt yourself on the way down.
I know what it is, too. He is south to the core right now, Evan.
Like that.
Jeez.
So here's what we're gonna do. That was, I mean, we can get on soapboxes, but now's not the time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely not.
We are going to finish this thing. We're gonna bring this thing home.
Let's do it
With our third and final beer. We're gonna hit the family dinner.
Brought to you by Giant Eagle.
Brought to you by Giant Eagle. Thank you
that.
for all this food. Evan does shop at Giant Eagle. Moan, did you ever eat Giant Eagle food?
Yes, 100%. Those wraps that we got on the plane.
On the plane, yes.
Absolutely. When they did, what is it, Giant Eagle Market or whatever that was?
We're getting from the market district. That's where this comes from. I know. Thank you, Giant Eagle.
Thank you, Giant Eagle. I also will take sponsorship too, okay? Lead offensive lineman.
I'm accepting money as well.
Yeah, look, I'm visible here still, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we're
do.
gonna finish this thing up, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the family dinner. Talk about your boys. Talk about this. Spence, what you got for this?
Yeah, the beer that is in front of you right now, gentlemen, is from Coven Brewing Company. That is a Pittsburgh brewery as well. It is called Bus Stop 91. It is a blonde ale. Nelson Sauvin.
What is
it's just
that?
what I don't know. It's just what it says.
Okay.
And so it's a Nelson Softman, man. Sounds like a great guy. So I hope you guys enjoy. It is called Bus Stop 91.
Is this for Smitty? Aaron Smith?
Oh, Aaron Smith?
91?
I don't know. That's about as
4.6.
smooth as you get.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's not too bad.
That is. It's not much carbonation in this one. This is easy. This is one of them when you put in one of those like little circle cups right there.
Oh, we got
those
one.
real cute cups or whatever.
You want one?
Like a
You got
water
one
cup?
behind the bar somewhere, 7. We'll have to find it.
That's really good.
This is good.
Yeah, I like that guy. Bus Stop 91.
Oh, the Stefan to it. Either way,
Oh yeah, the to it. Yeah. So as we're getting into the family dinner,
you're not gonna pass it.
I knew you would say something. That's why I decided to set it
my
there.
God.
I went to do it,
So
and you saw me, didn't set it
in
down.
there?
I knew what was coming. Okay, relax. I
By the
got
way,
you.
it's my first pour too. Ben has been the hostess with the mostest,
Look at
man.
him. Yeah,
I
he
even
is.
had to pour
This
anything.
over here so we can figure out what's going on here.
Moving on the other side.
Evan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Evan.
It's been a while. Oh, Mo doesn't eat gluten or meat.
Don't listen to him. Hot route. Okay. Hot route.
Evan,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Talk to us about this.
All right. On the small plate up there on the top where Ben's pointing and Ramon is pointing, that's fried catfish.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I did.
What'd you think?
I did. I knew it was fried catfish. My wife been asking me to fry some for her. She gonna be
You gonna take it
mad
home?
when
You
she
gonna
see
take it
this. Can we freeze right?
And then
Okay.
right across from the catfish, that's they're smoked pork country ribs, but I cut them off the bone and made them into bites with like a Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce.
Because you knew that he would probably spill.
Well, I knew it would be messy. Like
Yeah.
ribs, there's really not a good way to eat them.
I appreciate you being that considerate right
Well, thank
there.
you.
That matters.
That's
Next.
some baked mac and cheese,
Yes, it is.
and then some whiskey brisket.
Whiskey brisket.
So it's just a smoked brisket with like a whiskey, hot, spicy barbecue sauce on it.
That's
So
crazy.
Sir, this looks phenomenal.
thanks.
Thank you, Evan.
Hopefully it passes the test.
That's the
Evan,
eye test.
it
Well,
does. It's a smell test too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you have a question?
Oh, I left my notebook upstairs, but I remember them. I have 2.
Two. Oh, did we?
The first
did we
one-
get two for permission? Is that allowed?
If the first one bombs, then I have
the
a
second one goes.
backup.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay, so this one has a big word in it, and hopefully I don't screw it up. Who in your career was most influential to you? Like in your career and
In
your
my
workings and
career,
everything
football
else?
wise
As a
or
player?
life wise?
You can do both, please, if you can, if you will.
Football wise,
That's hot.
it's
No, you're fine. Stay
fine.
back and just get you.
football wise would probably be Willie Colon.
Okay.
I bring up Willie
Muriel.
I bring him up often like he's a family member because he is.
He
okay.
is. Willie's
I never forget he came to Nashville to my wedding. He went out with Father Paul. It was by far one of the craziest scenes I've ever seen in my life. Okay, but Willie instilled in me, man, from Hofstra himself. Like, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you are a Pittsburgh Steeler, we gonna know this. And he never let me shy away from being a guy that like knew I belonged. He was hard on us. He was gritty. And his relentlessness on just finishing and playing. Like, I saw him in camp one year run into Lawrence Timmons like he wasn't even a teammate of his. And it was by far one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. So Willie Colon, man, is probably the guy that I say had the most impact, especially early. Because I think he understood where I came from being undrafted and all that type of stuff, just considering his school football program ended soon after that.
Not even a program, Willie. Not even a program.
Yeah, man, can't give him too much praise. Outside of football, man, I can go numerous different ways, but I think directly, my wife and kids, they stuck by me the entire time. Like, my life was their life. When I ended in the NFL, and after 11 years, my oldest was 11 years old.
Wow.
So they were raised in this thing with me. My wife has been a rock with, she's a trooper. Like, and Ben, I tell you, it's hard having someone that understands us after losses, us after wins,
yeah.
the preseason training camp, the scheduling. So my wife and kids, I can go my granddad too.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and then the second question is it's a not so serious question.
Okay.
Favorite Gatorade flavor?
Favorite Gatorade flavor? The white one.
Okay.
Ice cherry. Glacier
cherry.
Easily.
All right.
Oh, that or the light purple one. But I think I might go.
Riptide Rush.
Oh my God.
I had one today. that's my go-to. The Riptide Rush.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Those two right there are a hit. Those
solid choices.
Yes. I pass?
Yeah, absolutely. Any answer would have done.
You say that and it's just like, don't ever invite Ramon back.
No. The Riptide Rush that's up there.
Yes,
so
absolutely. This looks awesome.
Thank you, Evan. Help yourself.
Well, hope you enjoy it.
Evan, you're the best. As always, thank you.
All right.
Coming on Saturday for us. Thank you, Giant Eagle.
Yes.
You get this all Giant Eagle?
I got it at Giant Eagle.
It's amazing. Obviously.
Yins enjoy.
We will. Thanks, Evan.
And the words of the last time we went.
You're scooping that out.
Yeah, buddy.
We do this family dinner. Thank you again, Giant Eagle, for sponsoring the family dinner. The whole show, but the family dinner specifically because it's the food. But we're going to wrap this show up talking about your family. If you just open the door for me. Not the football family. The kids.
Yeah.
Specifically. You got two boys. Miles and RJ.
Yep.
Miles the youngest, RJ's the oldest. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about what's going on at home.
Man, trying to be the best dad / husband I possibly can. I promised them when I retired in 2020, great timing by me, by the way. I did not want to be doing that nose thing that y'all had to do, bro. I was like, it was a part of me that missed the game a little bit, 7. I was like, nah, I ain't
Not
trying to
that
have my cranium tapped every day I walk in. Good timing by me. It was, man. So I promised them I was going to pour into them. So that meant being the best husband, best father I possibly could. So that meant immediately, like, they became the forefront of everything moving forward, man. RJ's now 16.
Man.
Driving.
Man.
7. He's taller than me now.
Not.
He lets me know. Like, you see us standing side by side, he stands over me now. It's nuts. I never thought that.
Skinny? Tall and skinny?
Tall and skinny.
Or is he building up a little
He's
bit?
got a little weight on him, man. He's happy to be like 205, 210.
Really?
That's
Jeez.
6'6", 6'7", or whatever his height
What's he
is
doing?
right now. He's playing baseball right now. Was doing basketball too, but baseball's going to end up being his priority moving forward. He pitches. Everybody projects him.
I've heard. You can brag. Come on,
He's still growing, man. He's still growing in it. One thing we're not doing right now is chasing velo. Okay. He's got good velo. I think RJ ended last fall throwing about 84 miles per hour. I think he tapped 85 too, which is the number that you want. Freshman last year. Yep. This year he's a sophomore. Okay. So he's playing baseball. And what I'm telling him is, look, my pathway, you got to be a player. So learn how to be a pitcher. Don't be a hard thrower. And he's still hitting too. His high school coach, man, and travel coach both are just of the mindset, they don't know what he's going to do. It's like he can still hit. Mm-hmm. He pitches. He plays position. He's first and left and right field.
So doing it all, which is cool.
Doing it all. Because you know how it is, 7. I mean, you hooped all the way through high school and everything else too. So it boils down to creating players and athletes. So he does that. Grades are pretty good, man. Actually, really good. We went from a public school to a private school, and his teachers bragged on him.
Or just him?
Just RJ. I'm not paying for private school and middle school, okay? We still get it from
Steelers didn't pay that one,
7. No, we ain't doing all that, okay? You better show me you earned it for me to pay for you for school. But with that being said, though, it is, man. I'm not paying for you to go to a private school in elementary. Absolutely not. You better show me you know how to get it out the mud first, okay? So, but he adjusted well. His teachers bragged on him. One of the coolest parent moments for him was they had this hard test in biology, if I'm not mistaken. The teacher actually emailed us because I think he ended up getting the highest grade in the class, and she admitted this was a hard test. So it's cool for him, man. So we're adjusting to all of that and chasing him around. Travel ball, if you get into it with your kids, 7, hey, prepare and put away some money for it, okay? That's all I would tell you. I learned. And then my youngest, man, Miles, man. That's my guy. Attitude.
What's he doing? What position is he? What sports is he playing?
He's still playing all 3 right now. Okay. He's football, basketball, baseball. We dropped travel baseball, though. because we had a conversation because how busy 2024 was for us. 7, listen to me. It's like we went from Tennessee to Alabama to Florida, from Florida to Virginia, from Virginia back to Florida, back to Alabama, back to Tennessee, both on 2 separate schedules. Colleges we visited this offseason, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, UVA.
Why Tennessee, though?
What do you mean? National champions last year. What are you talking about?
Waste of time.
Shout out to the Vols, man. You saw us winning in Omaha. You saw us winning in Omaha. Okay, go Vols at all times, okay? But we visited a few schools. That's something we had to learn. And we ended up having to have a conversation with Miles, because Miles is somewhat built like me, okay? But here's the thing. You know how the younger brother is, though. Mm-hmm. The younger brother just does stuff just easy, don't think about it.
Easier.
And that, he knows how to throw a knuckleball at 12 years old. He taught himself how to throw a knuckleball, and it is lethal, okay? But we had a conversation. It was like, Miles, what are you going to do? And just like, what do you ultimately want to do? And it's like, play football. It's like, good, let's talk about this. Okay, we're spending way too much money. You got some sauce on your beard.
I got stuff everywhere. I spilled, those of y'all don't see, I spilled everywhere.
I tried to keep it off camera for you, bud. I tried to keep you. Here you go. We can punch in.
Yeah. There it is.
Can I borrow someone's napkin?
That's what happened when you're around offensive linemen.
Thank you. It was everywhere. Y'all missed it. Mo was talking.
That's why you have enough.
I had a catfish bite roll all the way down my pants, my shirt.
That's because I wanted it. That's why.
Listen, I screwed up. I mean, I can't clean up right now. I
Listen, first of all, Chef Evan made barbecue. Those are the rules. All right.
I was thinking I was spilling my sweatshirt.
I'm gonna take a bite real quick.
Yeah, you can't keep
I got
barbecue.
Ramulade all down my pants.
Yeah,
you do.
Everywhere. It's on the floor. I can't even get out and pick it and clean it up.
Luckily, it's Ramulade on your pants.
We'll finish
Ramulade on the pants.
But
this show's going down.
I'm talking about my kids real quick.
Yeah.
But Miles is...
By the way, Blaine Stewart, I haven't talked to him forever, texted me.
Did he really?
This is not... You think this is live.
You just brought him out earlier.
I promise you. He texted me a video of me in college. Oh, my goodness.
Well, did you body him?
Face. No, how does he know that that's the most random?
Shout out to Blaine, man. Super cool dude. Glad he got a position now over there at West Virginia.
What are you texting for? Anyway, go to your kids. Sorry.
But Miles is playing football, basketball, baseball right now, and football is going to end up being his thing. I told him this year we're going to take it a little bit serious because this recruiting happens so early that this is the year that I'm like really leaning into him as an 8th grader. Last year was one of the few 7th graders that ended up playing and starting. He ended up making all county, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was super cool, but it's one of those things, teaching the big kid to be aggressive.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to feed him Willie Cologne stuff, okay? He's going to be an animal. But he's doing pretty good grades, a solid man. He's a leader. He's just like me.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm not scared, but I'm just like, he's so much like me. Like he's vocal. He's funny. He's charismatic around his friends, and he's got that it factor of not caring some, which I love, but he's a go-harder. He gets emotional with it, and I love it. So he's going to end up being a football player, man, and RJ decided that football wasn't going to be for him. He's going the baseball route. Yeah, but
that's like Benjamin doing the same thing. So
really?
Do you feel there's extra pressure, like that they want to do football and you don't want them to, or you just kind of whatever they want to do?
It's whatever they wanted. I never told either one of them, you need to go play. They said, hey, I want to. I actually held RJ back one more year. I held him back one more year. I actually let Miles play as a 6th grader.
Okay.
Because I was just like, no, I need to see that you want it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. And then the other part, too, that you're going to run into, they're not just in competition with their peers. They're in competition with their peers' dads.
Oh, interesting.
And that's one of those things where I ask of you when it's time, equip them for that, because the dad over there that gets one on your kid is cheering super hard, not because his kid did good. It's because you're his dad.
Yeah.
And more mental than anything with them. I don't teach like hey, go be a killer. Like, no, I'm asking them, like, be mentally sharp and prepared for, like, everything that comes your way. I'm more mental with them right now.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, that's great parenting. I love that you're there doing that, being involved in Nashville and everything you're doing, man. I'm super proud of you. Loved you as a football player. Love you even more as a father and husband and friend.
Appreciate that.
I am so thankful that you did the show. We cannot end the show, though, without doing our 2-minute drill.
Let's do it.
That's true.
So I've got 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to answer these questions.
I'll be quick.
because I need to go get these clothes.
I know you got to go hunting, don't you?
I need to get these clothes off of me, like start washing them because I have them all over. So stain's going to set. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, okay. So, I'm taking my son hunting. And so I told him, sorry, we're going to speed the show up. But anyway.
2 minutes. Let's
2 minutes. Ready?
Uh-huh.
The way that this works, I'm going to throw a couple questions at you. It's just rapid fire. Okay?
Yep, I'm ready.
We have 2 minutes, so hopefully we get through them all. If not, we'll cut it short. But I'm going to start the clock, and we go now. Pepsi or Coke?
Pepsi.
Pie or cake?
Pie.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Ocean or a lake?
Lake.
Favorite sport to watch?
Cornhole.
I'm sorry. No, that's good. Keep going.
College football or pro football?
College.
Monday night, Sunday night, or Thursday night football?
Sunday night.
Favorite sport to play?
Football.
Car or a truck?
Truck.
Pittsburgh or Nashville?
Ooh. Nashville.
Favorite position on the O-line to play?
Guard.
Cheese pizza or pepperoni?
Pepperoni.
Steak or chicken?
Steak.
Do you call it pop or soda?
Drink.
Least favorite position to play on the O-line?
Left tackle. Ugh.
Baked potato or mashed potatoes?
Mash.
Are you a city guy or a country guy?
Country.
Chips Ahoy or Oreos?
Oreos.
Almost done. Good call. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Karaoke or Guitar Hero?
Karaoke.
Hot wings or barbecue wings?
Hot wings.
Warm weather or cold weather vacation?
Cold weather.
Harder babysitting job, your sons or Alva, Illinois? Oh, we just ran out of time.
No!
We just ran out. No, we don't get that one in. No, we don't get to
Al
get
is
that one.
worse babysitting. Especially when he FaceTimes you and like, hey, what are you doing? And
Does he ever wear a shirt when he FaceTimes you?
No, he does
It's the most
not.
uncomfortable
he
thing of all
does.
time.
It's like, bro,
Al,
like, what are we doing here?
We're going to send you a shirt, dude. Come on, put a shirt
You don't
on.
own shirts no more.
Yeah, I know.
Send him
Living
a
in Florida,
football
no shirts.
shirt, man. God.
Moan, thank you so much.
Man, I'm appreciative.
You're the best. This was awesome. I enjoyed catching up. We could have done this for hours.
We could have
done this for hours. Spence was telling me we had to end it.
Way to go, Spence.
Don't put that on me, man. What you
Way to go,
talking about?
Spence.
No, actually, I need to go hunt with Benjamin.
You gotta
but
put that.
no, thank you so much for taking time out to do this. I love again what you're doing. Tell the boys hello. Tell your wife hello. And we look forward to having you back on at some point.
Absolutely.
I look forward to texting you that your picks were terrible. No, but it's so much fun to catch up with you. I appreciate you and everything. So thank you for doing this and being a part of the show with us.
Let's
and the
do it
football
again.
family will eat this up, and we got to get more views than Pouncies. At least one more.
That's
One
all
more
I was
view.
looking for. Well, I'm more active on social media, so I tweet it out more. So we will have more.
Yes. Go. Take that, Pounce. Thank you to all the football family. Thank you to Giant Eagle. Thank you, Evan, for everything we do. As Spence always says, check out all of our socials.
All the socials at Footballin with Ben on Instagram. Also, Ramon, where can they find your show at?
Man, my show, you can catch me on, I'll tweet it out often. I'm on 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. If you're in Nashville, there's a lot of Steeler fans down in Nashville too. My socials are at The Ramon Foster on all platforms. So that's that on that.
Nice. And we're going to come to Nashville at some point and record some shows. So we will definitely come say hello.
And if you
Maybe I
walk
can get on the
in,
show at some point.
don't tempt
get
me with a
invited?
good time. I mean, depending on your schedule and contracts and like security, like there's so many parameters we got to go through to get you, Savin. I mean, yes. The answer's always yes.
Would love it. Would love it. But thank you so much, family. Appreciate y'all joining us. Hope y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you when we see you.